Hello, Janine.
Hi, Jack.
Hi, Janine on the internet.
Hi, Jack on the internet also.
We've assembled today with you on the internet. We're in our own homes, but via the magic of the internet, broadcast effortlessly. Maybe effortfully. I think making the internet's probably extremely difficult.
That's the streaming software, IBE.
IBE?
Internet broadcast effortlessly.
Internet broadcast
studio.
effortlessly. Yeah. Hello, IBE, and it plays the THX deep note or whatever as we show. We need I feel like people make a lot of Twitch starting soon title cards. What I would love to see are Twitch company idents that play before, so it would play the equivalent of 20th Century Fox, and then us losers show up. We gotta get a thing in with the title, that frightening BBC title card of the little girl and the doll.
Oh, yeah, God. Where's B? I think would ours just be the Do You Have It Panda?
The Do You Have It Panda is so so comparatively recent. I'm really impressed at how the Do You Have It. Who knew that 3 of the most vapid Palisade podcasters could produce Do You Have It?
I think Do You Have It's a fun opening screen too, because eventually you can just be like, yeah,
we
here.
do have it.
Let's go.
Do you have it? Answer, yes. Keith in the chat says, do you have it? What are we doing here today, Janine?
I think today we have it. It is Roadwarden.
Oh, wow, it's Roadwarden. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is Roadwarden?
It's a game a lot of people like.
Yes.
It has a lot of text.
It does have a lot of text.
I believe you're a warden and there's a road.
Yes. This game is from 2022, I believe, which was last year. The studio name is... Let's see. I want to shout out the... Yes, it released in September 2022, and it was developed by Moral Anxiety. And it is, like Janine said, a mostly text-based game about being, a road warden. And we will figure out what a road warden is as we play. I believe you haven't played this, Janine?
No, I bought it, and then I was like, I kept, it got added to the pile of like, oh, I really want to play this. And then as we started streaming more, I was like, oh, we should really play this on stream.
Yeah, absolutely. This is, I played about an hour of this game and really, really loved it. And I think I was saying to you a couple of days ago, Janine, the reason that I put it down was because it became pretty clear that the game was one that I would want to spend time with and want to devote focus to. And I was at a time in my life and in my work where I knew that I couldn't do that. So I sort of said, with sadness, goodbye game. But now
you're back.
Now I'm back. I'm going to start a new game, especially because, once I realized that the time wasn't quite right for the game, I think my brain turned off. So I'm excited to see how much of it I remember. Any business that I want to do before we begin? Yes, let us know how the audio is. As usual, we did a little test and I think it's sounding okay. Odesk in the chat says Jack didn't have it. Brackets, time to play the game. Worth saying that the tone of this game is fairly dark. This is a fairly dark... I always feel so weird when people are like, this is a realistic fantasy, when what they actually mean is fantasy that thinks about material conditions of how people live in the world. But this is not a terribly light game, although I don't think that there are any specific urgent content warnings that we should make off the top. We are operating much more in the realm of The Witcher than we are, for example, The Hobbit. I think that's fair to say.
There are 2 kinds of fantasy. One where you open the box and there's a wand, like a magical wand with a crystal, and the other kind of fantasy where you open the box and there's half a crust of old bread, and you are more interested in that than you would be a wand.
Yes, absolutely. What I really like about Ursula Le Guin's work is that very often it seems like it's one, but reveals itself to be the other over the course of several paragraphs, and you're never quite sure which it is. This game uses a really cool pixel font that you can see here in the title treatment of Roadwarden, but what I really like is it also recognizes that this pixel font might be tricky for folks to read, so it also offers this nice smooth font that we are playing with here.
That's beautiful.
Any other business before we begin that you want to hit, or should we get into it?
I was trying to think of like a bureaucracy joke, and that's so far removed from the world I live in that I just really couldn't.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Yeah. Boy, I hope that playing this game won't be Franz Kafka's The Trial. Oh boy, I hope that at some point in this game we encounter Franz Kafka's The Castle. Because it's a fantasy game and there's castles. Kafka wrote a novel called The Castle.
Franz Kafka saying, "Do you have it?"
From Earth, Germany. Boy, I hope that we encounter some sort of Franz Kafka's Metamorphosis. He also wrote The Metamorphosis. All right.
Famously.
I'm getting comfy in my chair.
I got a coffee.
Critical. I got a coffee. I got a heating pad. Nice and warm.
Ooh.
It's fucking cold today in Los Angeles.
Is it? I heard it was getting warmer.
Yeah, and then a storm blew in, and we got rain, we got high winds. There is a blizzard warning in the mountains north of the city, which I have never seen.
Yeah, we're like straight up back to December over here. Like it's
bud.
We got like a text weather warning. The city will text us and be like, "Hey, listen, it's bad out there. We're sending plows, but you gotta just hang on."
Yeah. When you get a text that says, "Hey, listen, it's bad out there," that's really how you know you're existing in the world as climate change is happening. Last summer in Los Angeles, every day they would send us an alarm being like, "Hot, isn't it?" We would go, "Yes."
Just a bitmoji of the mayor shrugging and sweating.
Yeah, that's LA. All right. New game. I love that this game has a little stick as my mouse. I appreciate it in games when you get a cool little mouse cursor.
Oh yeah, is that a?
I don't know. It looks like a
wand.
Oh wow! Did we open the box and discover a wand?
Oh, it could just be a very thin piece of bread, like a baguette from far away.
A baguette from far away with a kind of. It could be a clarinet, I suppose.
Oh yeah, it's got like a flared base.
Yeah. You want to do paragraph by paragraph? No. Otherwise, we're gonna get in real trouble quickly if we do that. Here's my proposal, Janine. We take one panel of text each. So we essentially read a scenario.
Okay.
Each. Do you want to begin or shall I?
Yeah. I'll start. Everyone knows to stay away from the wilderness. Most people would never risk a lonely journey. Roadwardens not only accept this struggle, they embrace it. They deliver messages, assist merchants, burn human corpses, that's a bit of a pivot, and if possible, get rid of the beasts and highwaymen. They live on the road, die young, or retire early. It's a dangerous job, but a respectable one, and it pays well. And our choices are, I leave the safety of the city walls, and I still have my doubts.
Well, I think we probably better play the game.
Yeah, probably.
Please select the difficulty mode. This choice can't be altered later on. This is fascinating. We have 3 options. Casual, for those focused on the story. No time limit. More cash at the start. Some quests are more forgiving. Standard, for those familiar with RPGs. 40-day time limit. Regular rule set. And restrictive, for the returning Roadwardens. 30-day time limit. Increased nighttime damage. Now, as an avowed time limit hater, when I played this first, I played casually because I was like, I don't want to poke around in this game. But having seen how the game works and seen what the stakes of the time limit are, I think we should play standard.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I think if I was playing solo, I'd do the same thing. I'd play casual, but think standard makes sense.
There is something fascinating about the idea of setting out into an open world and knowing that you have a limited amount of time in it, because then you start prioritizing, which is interesting. I feel like also the way we were both like, well, we'd pick casual, but we're going to choose standard here is absolutely the are we on the job or not mode. Like, I feel like Friends at the Table is pick the interesting choice even if it puts you in a bit of a bind. And then when we're playing on the Steam Deck or whatever.
If I'm stressed for content, then it's justified. If I'm stressed on my own, then I'm just having a bad time.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. All right. The wall is still standing. There are no wolves around, no stench of blood. Good signs. This should be the place you're looking for. You were supposed to meet with a group of soldiers, but you hear no voices, no sounds of labor. The gate is ajar, but the camp isn't safe. It may keep away the goblins and pebblers, but not beast folk nor trolls, and the night is near. Your palfrey breathes heavily. It had a long day. And our options are, I could just look around for another shelter. I need to look around cautiously. I dismount and sneak to the gate, or I get off the horse and enter the camp briskly. I think we should dismount and sneak to the gate, peek inside. Your heavy boots...
I guess that makes sense, yeah.
Oh, I was like, off the horse.
The stream's a little bit behind.
Oh, Janine, I'm so sorry. I haven't given you... This is how you know. Let me share the screen real quick.
I didn't ask because I was like, well, it's not an action game. It'll probably be fine.
No. We should be live here.
There we go.
All right.
Oh, I get music now too. What a treat.
Because when it comes down to like, I draw the sword and stab the mayor. What should I do, Janine?
Yeah, true.
Your heavy boots hit the ground and the pain of the long ride finally catches up with you. You stretch out, bringing your back and legs comfort. All you want now is a table, a decent chair, a nice mug of beer, and some warm stew. With any luck, your axe won't be needed here. I love that the beginning of this game, your character is already like, I'm fucking tired and I want to rest. Here it says...
That's relatable though, that's life.
Yeah, that's how I feel sometimes when I wake up. I'm like, what, another one of these? Gesturing at the day. Take care of yourself. If you're hurt or exhausted, some actions won't be available to you. The weaker you are, the higher chance you will die in combat. I approach the gate slowly. All right, Janine.
Okay. If it's a military camp, it doesn't look the part. Plenty of wasted space. The fire pit is cold. 2 people are sitting at the table, tired and disheartened. They're looking in different directions, paying no attention to one another. One of them is holding a cup. After a moment, you notice the quiet humming. You recognize the melody of a light-hearted drinking song from the city harbor. I could just look for another shelter. I need to look around cautiously. They don't look like much of a threat I can enter.
How you feeling?
I feel like everyone's just like sleepy and vibing. I feel like we could just walk in.
Yeah. It takes them a few breaths to glance in your direction. The first person greets you with a wave of his hand. There are bags under his eyes, his beard is messy. Despite his simple shirt, he's wearing durable, decent boots. A mace with a head covered in iron hangs at his side, but he doesn't reach for it. I take a look at the second soul.
Just like you, she's wearing a gambeson, but hers is a bit loose, as if she took it off a corpse. Her head is shaven, as if she's protecting herself from flesh-eating bugs. Her eyes are weary yet kind. She smiles. Considering the squad was sent here half a year ago, these 2 surely look the part. Though there should be more of them. 8, you believe?
And how many have we got? 2?
Ooh. Yeah.
Should we let them open? Or
I would probably ask about the lieutenant, because this seems...
Just be like, hello, what's the deal?
Also, they're like sleepy. I don't know if they're going to get right to the key info of where everyone is.
You wonder how to phrase your question. Whenever you meet new people, you can influence how they perceive you by selecting one of the attitudes. And our options are friendly, be supportive and cordial. Playful, use a joke or a witty comment. Distanced, hide your emotions. Intimidating, hint at a threat. Or vulnerable, be sad, tired, afraid, or hopeless. The div method of conversation. I think we should be friendly, right? I mean, the one that I really want is professional, and to a certain extent that might be distanced.
Yeah. Maybe.
I want to be like, what's up, guys? I'm the Roadwarden. How come there's only 2 of you? And that
I think
might
it's probably supposed to be distanced, yeah.
Because it's not just like, hail and well met. Why are there only 2 of you? My brave
Hey, champs,
fellows.
where's the squad? You know.
Yeah, this is Hey Champs, where's the squad? This is, I sure was expecting to see 8 of you. Are you hiding? This is, hello, where is the lieutenant? This is, tell me where the lieutenant is. This is, oh no.
The lieutenant's not here.
All right. I'm looking for your lieutenant. Oh, wait, we can actually see. I was hoping to meet with your lieutenant. Could we talk for a bit? I'm sure you're busy, so if you could just introduce me to your lieutenant. I'm looking for your lieutenant. I'd rather speak with someone who's not going to waste my time, or I had a long journey. I need to have a word with your lieutenant. I think this is, we don't quite know what the character of the Roadwarden is at this point, but I picture them as someone who's like, I'm getting to it.
Yeah.
The woman stands up, dusts off her gambeson, adjusts the sword at her side, and rests her hand on the hilt. Her shoulders are straight, her eyes attentive. It'd be me, traveler. Are you in trouble? I'm fine. I'm your new Roadwarden.
I took you for a wayfarer, to be honest. When you mention that your mount is waiting outside, she raises an eyebrow. Shouldn't you unsaddle it? I bet it's tired. She glances at the gate, then at her companion. Her voice drops the slightest sign of weariness. I expect you're looking for directions. I'll help you as much as I can. She reaches out to you. Lieutenant Tulia. Oh my god, we did the walk into the GameStop and ask the guy if he's the manager thing. Awful. Embarrassing. Mortifying.
Oh, well, that would be
I shake her
me.
hand.
Yeah, we should shake her hand. I don't think this is a trap, but we gotta make good with Lieutenant Tulia.
Yeah.
How do you want people to call you? I love that the first option is Leto. This is, to me,
That's Fenris's real name in Dragon Age 2.
It's also the name of a cat school. No, that's Letho. In The Witcher, there's a cat school witcher called Letho.
Oh, yeah.
Leto is also Duke Atreides' first name in D&D.
Yeah.
All right. What is our name? Oh, this is great, firstly. The prompt isn't, what's your name?
Yeah, how do you wish people would call you?
Which is
truly
really,
put anything
really cool.
there.
Otathley asks in the chat, is the bright/bold text selectable/hoverable? Not yet. At this point, it is serving the role of capitalized text in a screenplay, where, it lets you know that someone has showed up. But later we will be able to do some stuff with that text, I believe. I think it is indicating that it is being added to our codex. All right. Do you have name thoughts, Janine?
I don't know. I'm fine with Leto, honestly. It's like a name I'm fond of, but also I'm not averse to changing it.
I like it too. I think it's, this is me playing Zelda games where I'm like, well, his name's Link. What's the guy called? Link.
His name's Zelda. What's the problem?
What's the problem? This is Zelda to me. I think Leto's great. I like the implication that maybe this isn't the name we would use back home. Her grasp is confident.
Potato nut, Lita. It's Lita and the Swan. That's the myth
Leda?
you're thinking of.
Leda?
Leda.
Leda and the Swan?
Leda?
Yeah.
Yeah, Anyway.
Letho is Viper School. I had no idea why I thought he was Cat School. I don't know. Her grasp is confident. The shake is slight. Just keep your horse away from the tents. She steps away. We don't need to smell its dung. There's one issue. The soldier in the shirt also rises to his feet. We've no tent to spare. You'll have to use a blanket or something.
Oh.
That's fine.
Yeah, we should get used to sleeping on the ground. Like, that should be a thing we're used to, if this is our job.
Do you think we're used to it already? Or do you, which is this one? Or do you think we need to get used to it?
I think we need to get used to it.
Yeah, we're on the job now.
Yeah.
You walk
life.
through the gate. Your mount looks around and snorts anxiously. I love this detail. Not many humans could ride a horse. It's not only taller than you, but also bulky, as heavy as it is strong. You can get in the saddle within a single breath, but most people wouldn't know where to even begin. From every side, it's a wall of flesh. Horses were brought to the Dragonwoods from the conquests in the south. They can trot for a long time, but won't outrun some of the local monsters. Your palfrey needs you to survive, but without it, you too would be lost. It's my only companion here, I want it to feel at ease, or I don't care how it feels, but I need it to be strong if I want to travel, and I can't afford another one. I love that
we should be kind to the horse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Be nice to horse.
It is so cool to me that horses are different in some way, or there is not a culture of using horses for work or riding in the same way that there was on Earth. I can't tell whether it's fully bigger than our horses, or whether for some reason people just don't ride horses in the same way. Terran7 in the chat says, "What are horses? We just don't know." It takes a few... Oh, sorry, this is you.
It takes a few steps toward you, scolding you with another snort. You scratch the bottom of its neck with strength and confidence, just the way it likes it. Humans see useful animals and even pets as monsters in disguise. Getting emotionally attached to them is believed to lead humans to their doom. But you know that horses need companionship.
Great detail. Let's speak to it gently and lead it to the camp. You end up next to the fire pit. Removing the saddle makes the horse nicker with relief. You take a couple of minutes to examine its back, just in case. While the riding equipment is not that heavy for such a strong animal, with enough time, it starts to chafe. You wish it had something better to eat than this shabby grass. You should look for an inn. I need to unpack.
You haven't brought that many things, and you lost one of the sacks while fleeing the Crimson Corpse Eaters. Ooh. Worst of all, you have no rope left, but maybe the soldiers could share one. Shouldn't cost more than a dragon bone. That's expensive rope. Or cheap dragon bone. Aside from the travel set, you own a few valuable possessions, essential for your trade. Oh boy, class selection.
Oh boy.
So, did we spend our savings on decent combat equipment, like a fine gambeson, an axe made of steel, and a reliable crossbow with quarrels? Or do we have talismans that help me use my powers, as well as an iron axe and a worn gambeson? Or do we carry writing instruments and alchemical ingredients, as well as an iron axe, a worn gambeson, and a healing potion?
Or we could learn more, which we probably should.
Yes, or we could learn more.
Oh dear Hunter in the chat says, maybe dragons have taken on the role of horses. A dragon's bone might actually be mundane.
It's like an old soup bone.
Yeah. Oh, just all over, make dragon soup. As a fighter, you'll have an easier time in physical challenges, thanks to your superior equipment and hidden bonuses during dice rolls. You'll be physically more capable than the other classes. Which opens unique opportunities during some social interactions. It's the best class for RPG beginners. The fighter's weakness is their reliance on physical strength. Your special abilities won't be available to you if your vitality points drop to 0. The mage uses Pneuma, a versatile but limited pool of energy points that can be spent to cast a few humble spells. Magic won't protect you better than a sharp axe, but as a mage, you'll be able to heal faster while resting, detect magic in a mysterious area, distract a beast with a simple trick, and find a common tongue with other magic users. Using the mage's powers too freely will result in having no Pneuma left when you need it the most. The scholar will know more about the world's mysteries than you, helping you take advantage of some unusual situations. Your character will impress the locals with its knowledge, and you'll be able to read the sparse written clues without anyone's assistance. Scholars struggle with combat more than the other classes, but with enough carefulness and exploration, you'll gain access to alchemical mixtures that will help you escape from many dangerous situations.
Ooh.
Now, I'm immediately drawn to Scholar here. The idea of, hunting sparse clues. There is also something compelling to me about the fact that this is the person they've sent. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, here comes the Roadwarden on top of a huge horse. They're mostly here to, read things and figure things out.
And also, I like that the alchemical mixtures that you find are not just to help you in dangerous situations, but to help you escape from the dangerous situations specifically.
All right, let's be a scholar.
You unpack and inspect your belongings. Your water skin isn't pierced. The spare clothes are still here. Just in case you take a look, I'm guessing, at your wooden bowl and mug. Your cape, tinderbox, bandages, food rations, knife, nothing special or too cumbersome. From time to time, your routine helps you avoid mistakes, but this doesn't make it any more exciting.
Taking hits will damage your armor. You can then fix it in various settlements. I love these little icons. We have 15 minutes before dusk. Good to know. We have 3 out of 4 health. And we have half armor. We can also open the inventory to see our possessions. Unless you're occupied with another task, you can eat food, drink potions, and use your items from this menu. Be sure to click on each new item you receive, as some of them can have unusual applications. We have food rations, dried meat, crackers, nuts, seeds, fruits, and water, which spoil slowly and don't require additional cooking. And we have some information about them. A fresh healing potion. Good to know. You recognize a magical potion when you see one. It has a tall wax seal, inside of which there's a thin stick, enabling swift opening. The potion smells nice, like fresh herbs cooked with honey. You don't sense a hint of a hard drink. Most healing potions have a similar aroma. Healing potions may be the most desired liquid in the Dragonwoods, especially among travelers, hunters, and fighters. It shouldn't spoil anytime soon. We have a pouch with coins. The city artisans make coins by cutting dragon bones into slices. They are valued by merchants, though rarely used in the countryside. Wow. Fascinated. When it comes to trade, there's barely any connection between Hovlevan's marketplaces and the inns of the countryside. While city officials keep track of the value of different goods and oversee the legitimacy of used coins, the villagers prefer to barter or exchange their resources for work and other favors. A single coin is worth quite a lot among merchants. It allows you to stay and eat in a shoddy city tavern for about 5 days. For 10 coins, you'd buy a decent bow. For 20, a sword. And for 100, a squad of mercenaries will be willing to face a family of trolls. So money is worth a lot.
That rope is expensive then, because if you're giving a dragon bone, you could take that to an artisan and they could slice that up into, 5 dozen coins or something?
It could be that they mean a dragon bone as
as
the
in
name of
the
a coin.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But that's still fairly expensive. 1 coin would let you stay somewhere for 5 days, but a rope would let you, a rope's very useful, Yeah. Give a man a rope and he can hang up a hammock for the rest of his life. That's what they say.
That's true.
We have a gambeson, a padded defensive jacket made of linen filled with rags. If you've seen Connor Fawcett's art, it's what people are always wearing. Alchemical ingredients.
It's the original puffer jacket.
It is the original puffer jacket. The travel set. all sorts of odds and ends that you've taken on this journey, just in case. A rainproof cloak, a set of bone needles and thread, an iron knife, a blade sharpener, a tinderbox and a couple of tallow candles, a bunch of rags used to make torches, as well as a flask of oil, a pair of protective gloves made of thick leather. Just continues.
I love that it's like it's like in Dungeon World when you equip like the adventurer's gear.
I was
or whatever.
just
It's
thinking
like,
that.
You got stuff in here.
You have fucking
You got
stuff.
a bunch of shit. Like,
Yeah. Whoa.
Oh,
Whoa. You want to read this one?
stuff. A bundle of black woundwort, a cave ear mushroom, a snakebait flower, a jar of cursed soil, a piece of flower-looking driftwood, a collection of fresh, rare herbs, bog friend,
Bog
a
friend.
mushroom found at the wetlands,
Hello.
a basalt rock powdered at the a basalt rock powdered on the top of a mountain. Okay, a bunch of marsh bules. Alchemy is meant to fill liquids with pneuma, replacing the required power and the mastery of spells with special ingredients, rituals, and instruments. Your collection includes rare liquids, plants, rocks, and animal remains. It's not enough to brew a powerful mixture, but without them, even the most expensive workroom would be of little use. Finding new ingredients takes a bit of courage, but it's also part of your daily routine. Whenever you find something interesting growing near a road, you gather it for later use just in case. Because of that, you also know the basics of herbalism, a less spectacular art which allows you to achieve predictable results without depending on unreliable pneuma.
Okay. Well, now we have to see what our writing instruments are. Most Northerners are illiterate, but they're happy to meet someone who can write a letter in their name. Interesting. Most people in the Dragonwoods don't need to know how to read or write. The lessons are time-consuming and, often, expensive. The exchange of written texts is practiced among people who need to create complex, exact documents and keep them in good condition for years, or even centuries. This group includes priests, lawyers, inventors, officials, richer merchants, and high-ranking military chieftains. Less than 10% of society is literate, and the major part of this group lives in the cities. And we have an axe. Traveling with an axe shows that you've learned how to fight humans and human-sized monsters. It's not masterfully made, but it's already been put to test, and you've practiced with it for many days. Yep, it's an axe. You know. It does tell us that axe heads are sometimes made of massive seashells or chitin, which is interesting.
Concerning. You mean concerning?
Nope, very exciting. Austin in the chat says, I've been trying to find the time for this for months, and I'm so glad you all are playing it, so that I can live vicariously through my friends and their nice voices. Thank you, Austin. I know this exact feeling of being like, I really want to play this game or watch an LP of it, but I want to watch an LP of it that is my friends.
I'll be honest, that's part of why I put it on the list, too, it was like knowing myself and being like, I bet if I wait and try and play this on my own, it will just never happen.
I cannot tell you the amount of LPs that I do or plan to do because I want to play the game. All right, let's return to the soldiers. They're at the table again, observing your beast, this fucking horse is probably a monster in disguise, and chatting between themselves. Your stomach growls at the sight of them eating out of wooden bowls. One more bowl was put at a previously unused end of the table. You can sit down on a tree log. And our options are, I join them and take a look at the meal. I thank them for the meal, but I don't want to eat with them. I sit down and ask Tulia what she can tell me about the area, or I completely ignore the meal. I sit down and speak to Tulia. All right, let's take a look at the meal.
You should be polite. Ooh, it's cold gruel, the meal eaten in times of hardship. This specific bowl is filled with water, hog millet, some strange-looking cereals, and blueberries. Welcoming you with a meal, even a humble one, is beyond their duty. Soldiers live with and for their companions, constantly on the move from one part of the realm to another, making sacrifices to protect their group as they face dozens of hideous creatures. Their lives are filled with discipline, hardship, and camaraderie. The spelling of camaraderie really threw me there. Roadwardens, on the other hand, learn how to work by themselves. They seldom engage in open combat, patrolling the same roads for years. They help the settlement stay in touch, but also maintain commerce, settle down, forge friendships. When there are no laws to follow, they use their own judgment. Different responsibilities, different lifestyles.
Fascinating that the Roadwarden is set apart from like the traveling monster hunter. I mean, I keep coming back to witchers, but something that's notable about witchers is that they don't forge friendships. They don't, I mean, they end up doing it, but it's like, you know, a witcher shows up in your place and you pay them to kill some monsters and then they bounce. But a Roadwarden patrols the same roads and gets to know the people on them, which is fascinating. Keeping your stomach full will make you stronger. Starvation won't allow you to restore vitality while resting. You can find your supplies in the inventory. Nourishment, 2 out of 4. You experience no penalties and bonuses. I eat quickly, not focusing on the taste, then speak with Tulia. She's focused and chooses her words carefully. She looks away only when she gathers her thoughts. I'm afraid I can tell you less than I would like to and less than I should. She nods toward the other soldier. As you can see, there's not a lot of us left. At the beginning of summer, there were 8 of us, including our previous lieutenant. 5 are dead. 1 has run away in tears. We're also strangers in this land, adds her companion. Look, any piece of information may help me do my job. Butter and Cats in the chat says, what if the postman rode a quote-unquote horse?
The man leans forward, his legs shake nervously. He sounds like a kid asking a bard to sing one more story, tell a joke, or do a magic trick. Whatever it takes to escape from boredom. His untrimmed beard hides a much younger face than you originally thought. What did the officials tell you? I expect not that much. No soul governs these lands. Should I just share what we consider to be relevant, right?
This is interesting because we don't know what our mission is, the player. But the Roadwarden does. Leto does know what their mission is. People asking if we can click on the bolded text. Nope. Yeah. All right, let's let them know. Because there's some judgment here. We're not being like, tell them fucking everything.
And also it lets them know what we don't know.
Yes, absolutely.
In theory.
You tell the soldiers how little guidance you've received. Since this area is too far away from Hovlevan to keep it under control, you were warned that it's untamed and unknown. Who knows how many villages, bandits, or monsters may be found in these unmapped hills and forests. From time to time, new people come here to look for boundless opportunities. Most of them never return. Do they turn into walking corpses, or find what they're looking for? No soul could tell me, so I was looking for your guidance.
The lieutenant drinks from her cup and crosses her legs, ankle on knee. Seeing her chair makes you doubt she'll ever find a comfortable position. Where should we start? Oh boy.
We should just work through these.
Yeah.
I love the image of her crossing her legs, ankle on knee. The play between this, like, detailed but low resolution art and this hyper-detailed text description is really cool. You want to go top to bottom, or should we do this in order? In some kind of order?
I feel like top to bottom's probably fine, right?
What should I know about the peninsula? I'll tell you what I know, and you'll be the judge, says the lieutenant. How long did it take you to get here from the city? On a decent palfrey, I'd guess it would be 3-4 days. When you confirm, she continues. From here, you can reach the coast in about a day, as long as you don't make any stops. Do you know the situation? Why no ships can get here? You nod. The sea route allows Hovlevan officials to keep in touch with the coastal villages, collect taxes, move the soldiers, collect lumber, deliver goods, but maintaining order on a wild coast, such as this one, is like filling the ocean depths with coins. Because of the rocks, you can hardly stop a ship 5 miles from the shore, and boats can't get much closer. Only a land route.
She nods. I don't know much about fishing, but there's not that many people living by the shore, and they don't crave to stay in touch with the city folk. As she pauses, her companion carries on. No soul from the north ever came to the camp, but when we travel to the roadside inn, Pelt of the North, they're happy to trade, and to play dice.
Why not just stay at one of the settlements?
Oh. The man clears his throat. I mean, you know, We're to guard this road. This camp is our post. And, well, he turns toward Tulia. She lowers her voice. Don't take it the wrong way, Leto, but are you a devout soul? Oh, boy.
This is fascinating. All right, let's just do these alternately.
Like most city folk, I believe that people should unite their strength to overcome the threats of nature and dark magic. Everyone will be judged for both good and evil deeds. I'm a part of the United Church.
Hey, fuck nature and fuck dark magic. I'm from the city. For many years, I've supported a monastery that does its best to advance mankind's spiritual growth, artistry, herbalism, and magical research. I follow the teachings of an order of truth.
I'm from a small village. For me, the freedom of... I thought I was misreading. The freedom of shell, pneuma, and soul are the main virtues of life. My community is unique and independent, and so are its members. I have a place in my fellowship.
I have a strong connection to nature. And freedom of shell. Freedom of shell is what hermit crabs have. I have a strong connection to nature and spirits and follow the path of my ancestors. Some of my beliefs may be considered sinister and treacherous by the city folk. You'd probably call me a pagan.
There's no evidence of the rite's existence, and all the mystical tales are explained by magic. No, I'm not.
All right.
It's wild to me to be like, every religious story is explained by magic. The science of the world is it's just magic. It's not religion, it's magic.
It's great. It's like the beat in one of the episodes of What We Do in the Shadows, where it turns out that the vampires don't believe ghosts exist. Where they're like, well, you know, ghosts, they're not real. Vampires are real. Werewolves are real, but ghosts are beyond the pale. All of these are really interesting, but I think we should be a pagan for a couple of reasons. The idea of being from outside of this place where we know there is already a lot of pagan thought and coming into it with our own preconceptions of what paganism is fascinating. We can see how that bumps up against other stuff. I also like putting us. This is us taking the more interesting choice of like putting us at odds with the establishment here, right? Where it's like these soldiers from outside come in and are like I have to feel that what Tulia is working towards is there is wicked, there is heretical stuff going on here. And I would love to be like, yeah, sweet.
I think that's you made a good case.
Although I do think that just saying, look, everything's explained by magic is really funny. God? No. Magic? Yes. A pagan Roadwarden? The man scratches his head without the slightest subtlety. Now, I'm sure we can have a conversation. We're civilized people. The lieutenant clears her throat. I'm from the United Church, but I'm not a priest or anything, and definitely not a zealot. An awkward pause. The United Church has spilled the blood of countless pagan tribes, making it clear that who is not with them is against them. Your family shared gruesome stories about the atrocities committed by the priests against your ancestors. I'm not looking for squabbles. Look. You asked me. Yeah. Someone in chat was like, this is like someone sitting down to you at dinner and asking if you've been saved. She brought it up. We answered honestly. I think we can just say, look, it's fine.
The people here are disquieting. Every few words, she taps the table with her finger. Their traditions won't help them negotiate with the officials. Here, she starts to draw lines with her index finger as if she's pointing at an invisible map. The peninsula is connected with roads, like a big circle. In the northwest, you'll find a weird village at a bog. It's not exactly pagan, I don't think. It even has a priest who claims to be an eremite. You nod. She means a fellowship. They do crazy shit, her companion chips in. They use the dead to cut down trees and dig in soil. Once I saw it, I begged to never return there.
This is the first mention of something that is going to become relevant to us. And it's not the thing that you probably think I mean. The peninsula is broadly a circle. And as we begin to travel, that will become clearer. This is worth keeping in mind, given that we have a time limit, although the time limit is pretty generous. But in terms of conceptualizing this space visually, imagining it as a wheel that we are currently on the bottom of is a good way to think about it. You've heard tales such as this since you were a child. If an isolated settlement manages to survive without a city's influence, its customs and traditions grow more and more alien. Every generation learns how to adapt to the dangerous conditions they have to live with, and the rustic, pagan traditions muddy their river of faith. The United Church often warns its members about the crazy druids, necromancers, and blood mages, the bringers of doom, the traitors to humankind. Did you talk to these necromancers, or are you just sort of guessing about what's going on? No Smoke Fire in the chat says, so we have a time limit. Do we know what we're trying to do in that time limit? Not yet, but we will.
You can see why we were not eager to go there if we could avoid it, the lieutenant chuckles. Maybe they'll be more welcoming to a Roadwarden. The roads are dangerous with little to no shelters. People need your help. The man in the shirt turns a bit and points a finger to the northwest. If you're heading to the undead village, you'll get to an inn first, and soon. Tulia nods. Pelt of the North is a safe place. You can talk with the innkeep or the guards, ask them about the road. East, monster, or...
How about the east?
Yeah, I'm curious about the east.
She stares off across the camp. Hard to tell. We went there only once. There are hills, forests, rivers. We saw a tunnel sculpted in leaves and branches, but we didn't enter it. Wilderness all around. Well, what about any monster? Anything that could catch my mount is great.
We saw all sorts of beasts, the man starts to count on his fingers. Goblins, treants, cats large and small, runners, howlers, wolves, spiked boars, mouflon eaters, griffins, but we managed to stay away. Some could catch up with most mounts. Tulia glances at her companion, though a palfrey should be fine. The trees are so tall that the flying creatures keep to the coast and mountains. There's not that many humans around, and the animals are busy fighting among themselves. They fight more for food than territory. The soldier cracks his knuckles. Don't provoke them and ride fast. Just count on luck.
Potato Nort posted a Virginia emoji in the chat. That's presumably the small cats. I don't know where she is. My office door's
open. Could Virginia catch up with a palfrey?
If Virginia saw a horse, she would have a religious experience. Her little brain. That's all I need to know. She nods. I'm afraid we can't do more for you. All right, this is a real doozy of a question.
Yeah.
Any ideas what happened to the previous Roadwarden? Tulia takes a deep breath. Aren't you a bit late for a rescue mission? We haven't heard from him for almost a year. We haven't heard from him for almost half a year. The soldiers speak for a bit between themselves, trying to get their story straight. They confirm that he had stopped by their camp a few times, but stopped showing up at all in early summer. The bearded soldier starts to scratch the table with the tip of his knife, without looking at you. I don't remember his voice. Always busy, drowning in things to take care of. He would sit somewhere, sharpen his sword, fix his loud mail, clean clothes, write notes on that wax tablet of his. Yep, and leave at dawn. Unlike us, Asterion never gets bored. Tulia let out a joyless chuckle. He's secretive, but some of the locals speak about him warmly. Maybe he just doesn't like us. Sounds like you're not sure if he's dead or not.
Love a wax tablet. Just shout out to wax tablets.
Shout out to wax tablets.
If anyone knows, they won't tell us. Maybe someone is keeping him in a basement. The man carves with passion. We haven't seen him or his saurian. Something ate them, I bet. The officials have hired you, right? They don't expect him to return. Richer Roadwardens often use four-legged meat-eating saurians as their mounts. They have to be tamed and trained since they're hatching, but unlike horses, can easily defend themselves from many monsters. At least your palfrey is fast and reliable and won't suddenly sink its teeth into an innocent passerby. Know what he was looking for. Maybe he left you a message.
I like that this predecessor is maybe here, and also is clearly more experienced or wealthier than we are.
Yeah.
Like, this guy seems to know what he was doing, but has disappeared. Do you know what he was looking for? Neither one of us had any insight into his dealings, says Tulia. My predecessor left me no clues. We also took a look at Asterian stuff. Wait! She raises her open palm. I almost forgot. She stands up and heads to a nearby tent. He has kids, in a village near Hovlevan. I was planning to take all his things there. A pouch, a second spear, a decent bow, some potions. Quite a treasure. She glances at you. But I would much prefer to bring them the truth about their father. So you want me to find out what happened to him in exchange for his stuff?
Here's the catch. She dusts off the hilt of her sword. We've hired a messenger to ask the commanders for further orders. Since she hasn't returned and you know nothing about her, she either ran away or something happened to her. She sighs with resignation. We are meant to stay here until fall. What do you think? Come see us, tell us what you've learned about the man, and we'll get back to Hovlevan together. You think about your real mission. You're planning to return to Hovlevan in the early fall anyway.
If he's alive, I don't think he's going to be happy about me taking away all his possessions. True, but he's considered dead. I doubt he'll begrudge you anything. And who knows, you may just find his shell lying on the roadside tomorrow. He wears mail, uses a spear mostly, maybe 5 feet tall, but stout. Long, red beard, short hair, pale face, rarely smiles. She glances at her companion, but after he adds nothing, she sits down and stretches out her legs. So, find out what happened to him. Dead, alive, left. Just let me know. The Orange Witch in the chat says, classic sci-fi fantasy setup. You have a magic profession and your predecessor has been mysteriously murdered and or disappeared. Use your
Also, have we learned what a shell is? Is shell like corpse?
It seems like the way they talk about a corporeal body, right?
Yeah. So wait, what was that phrase before? Shell freedom?
Soul. Oh. Yeah, it was something like shell. Freedom of shell. Or freedom of shell, a small dragon says.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if freedom of
Maybe
shell...
that means like you can what's that? What's the term for people who say that they can like get out of their body into space and whatever?
Astral traveling, says Pinstripe Owl in the chat. It could be, yeah.
Is?
Yeah. I think that that's possibly what it is, but I could also see it as being like maybe a way of talking... Oh, Virginia! Hello, baby! I could see it as being a way of talking about whether or not you are bonded in terms of labor.
Mm-hmm.
Your body is yours to do what you want with rather than having a sort of a feudal position. I'm curious.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Use your journal to see the list of quests. Quests. Find the Roadwarden. Before I became the Roadwarden of this peninsula, a man known as Asterion used to patrol these roads. If I manage to find out what happened to him and bring the news to Tulia from the southern camp, I will receive his abandoned belongings. Respite Sage in the chat says, I got here late. Do we know that the people are human? What is human? It's implied that they have similar features to most humans. Neon Wyvern says, I think humans were mentioned. Yeah. Zukata has looked it up. The phrase was freedom of shell, pneuma, and soul. So it would have like a general ideal of autonomy.
That makes sense.
Interesting. Okay. I've lost my rope. Could you spare one?
You're in luck. She heads towards one of the crates and moves aside a large linen sack, revealing a rope. She brings it back and nonchalantly sits down in her chair. Take it. I was planning to leave it behind.
I take a closer look.
Ooh, it's fine.
Okay. Now, we have options here. We can buy it for free. She'll just give it to us. Or we can take it and offer some food in return. And we have 5 food.
They don't seem to need food. I mean, they're not eating good, but like, aren't they leaving soon or something?
They are leaving in fall. They are our rendezvous.
Oh, right.
In 30-ish days. So I'm with you. Like, they do seem to be fine, but these are also people we're going to have an ongoing relationship with, hopefully. So I don't know.
We only have 2 food, though.
No, we have 5 food, I believe. Oh, no, that might be...
That's bone.
money. Yeah, we have 2 food.
Yeah.
Right, we should buy it. We should say, thank you.
Yeah. She's
Thanks.
just offering it, and they also just fed us, so, they're probably fine.
Thank you. Tulia nods. For now, you leave the rope on the table. All right, I think this is probably a important question to ask, but I don't think they're going to like that we ask it. Or it'll bring up bad memories.
Yeah.
The man shrugs.
Oh.
Whose turn is it?
I forgot whose turn it was.
You go. We'll pick up as though it's your turn.
The man shrugs. Bandits happened, and monsters. A strong band, though, his companion chips in. When we got to the peninsula in spring, we saw some people living in this camp. The lieutenant decided to avoid it and look for an inn. We had to travel through the night for a bit. The bearded soldier scoffs and crosses his arms, but she carries on. If he had decided otherwise, we would have died that day. We would have all died that day. The innkeeper explained that the camp is a trap, and the armed ones pretend to be soldiers. Stay there at night, lose everything you have.
This is the camp that they're currently in.
Yeah.
Sounds like slave hunters. Tulia sighs. Very much so. They killed some and took others away, who knows where. They were letting the northerners go, hoping to avoid their wrath. It kind of worked, adds the soldier. We asked them for help, but they refused. We had to clear out the entire camp on our own, and that's why 3 of our people died. Don't exaggerate. It's not like the lieutenant didn't make a mistake. He wanted to get rid of them and take over the camp, but we didn't know our enemy well enough. We were outnumbered, and they had an ice mage among them. She looks at you. At least we cleared the road. Saved lives. You mentioned monsters as well?
Nothing that would surprise you. Those of us who survived the skirmish were young, too inexperienced to spend a summer in this place without a good leader, and they didn't trust me. One of them got caught by a treant. Another one ignored my orders to perform some sort of a ritual hunt, so a wereboar tore her to pieces. Okay. The last one tried to act tough, didn't tell us he had cut his hand while cleaning his gambeson. She lets out a ghastly chuckle. We had to cut it off, and he was so ashamed that he decided to walk north, find a new life, disappear. Idiot. What a colorful journey. The man tries to drink from his mug, but it's empty.
I'd fucking love to meet this one-handed person in the north as we journey. Just like a really embarrassed person with one hand. I think we can say they've made this place safer. You know, we didn't give them any food, but I think we should at least acknowledge that they...
There's no slavers here now.
Yep, there's no slavers here now. Indisputable, there are no slavers. Barely. Tulia seems tired. And who knows if it was worth the lives and effort. How did you become a lieutenant, Tulia?
That's not much of a story, honestly. She looks at her hand, which is currently rolling a mug over the table. In the city, there's a strict order of... what should I call it? She exchanges looks with her companion, but he can't help her. Well, leadership succession, I guess. Hovlevan chief selects commanders, those select lieutenants, and those put their soldiers in order of priority. If a lieutenant dies, they get replaced by the next soldier in line.
So, you were his successor? Nah, not exactly.
Oh.
When we fought the bandits, our lieutenant was hit by a slingshot. His boyfriend jumped to help him, but failed to protect either of them from a spell. It was like a ball of ice that hung above them and exploded, piercing their heads, completely avoiding their shield. Really unpleasant. She pauses. I mean, well, this is just love. That's how love works. So,
yeah.
I think we should just say you were third in line.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, yeah, she says without enthusiasm. I didn't plan to become a leader, though. I'll get demoted once we return to the city. I prefer to follow anyway. What was your mission?
The lieutenant looks into your eyes. You know, the usual, making the road safe, keeping people alive.
I explain that it may be important for me to know what they have tried to accomplish. I can't really tell you. You sense no hesitation. Do you have any other questions? Huh. I can't tell whether she's got something that she's not telling us or whether she is genuinely just, most of her squad got killed. She's exhausted.
She doesn't trust me enough to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even see that bit. I was totally reading it as her just being like, I fucking know what we're doing here. Okay, well, good to know. Anything I should know about this camp other than that a bunch of people got killed here by some kind of ice missile?
The story is brief. Some merchants built the camp to have an extra stop for mules and donkeys just between the inn and the southern villages. There's plenty of grass here and a pond nearby. When the peninsula grew more dangerous, the camp stood abandoned, from time to time serving as a shelter for travelers. The bandits came here in spring, further paralyzing the exchange of information between the northern and southern settlements. Since these highwaymen are no more, the situation may reverse. Time will tell. You can sleep here wherever you want, the man concludes their tale. But don't expect to wake up without pain in your back.
If you were me, where would you go next? The soldier answers quickly. To the inn, of course. He grabs his empty mug. The one northwest from here. If you can't afford the room, the main hall is free of charge. The locals rarely gather there. The northern road is much more travelled, mentions Tulia. But the hunters will tell you about this and that, and you'll have a chance to introduce yourselves. The innkeeper can listen and knows many souls. Any tips on how I can make a good first impression on him?
She smirks. Avoid cheap jokes, stick to trade, don't waste his time. Show him that you can be relied on.
It's getting late. We should prepare for the night. I agree. Tulia sighs with relief. And may you do better than Asterion did. Stay vigilant. She winks at you, shattering the mask of a soldier. Tulia's alright. I mean,
yeah.
I understand this like, oh man, I guess I'm in charge now. Open the archive to reread the most recent text. And here we just have, what we've read, which is useful in a text-based game. Worth, at this point, taking a quick dip into our journal to show what we've got here. We can click Humans and learn about the various people who have been mentioned. Asterion. The previous Roadwarden disappeared a couple of months ago. The merchants want to know where he is. We have a physical description of him and that he rides on a four-legged lizard. Tulia calls him a bit of a recluse. His kids live back in the city near Hovlovan. Pelt's Innkeep. According to Tulia, he prefers to stick to trade, doesn't like to waste time on jokes and empty gestures. And Tulia, one of the last soldiers left in the peninsula. She didn't expect to become a lieutenant and most of her squad are already dead. We know that Hovlovan is one of the greatest harbours in the Dragonwoods in the heart of the northwestern province of the 10 cities. I was hired by its officials and merchants. We have some information on how succession works via Tulia. We're a Roadwarden, so we know all this shit. I think we can look into it as we come to it. Any of this
large
calling
cats,
to you
large
right
cats.
now? Large
Wait, no, small cats. Small cats. Is small cats in there, or is it just large cats?
No, sadly not. All right, large cats. Do you want to read this one?
While the smaller wildcats are too afraid of humans to attack them, the larger species are among the strongest and most successful hunters living in the north. Strong and heavy enough to kill a boar with a single strike, but also able to remain so silent and patient that most people won't even spot them in the taller meadows. Their skins are usually turned into expensive pelts. They are not valued for their meat nor their bones, but some people value the jewelry and clothing made of their claws and tusks. Yet believe they bring bad luck on those who live close to the wilderness. Because of that, they are usually worn by the richest of merchants. There's still more to learn about them.
I love that people are just broadly skeptical of the concept of animals. They're like, oh, this is bad. This is bad luck.
I mean, in a world where someone can make a statement like, religion doesn't exist, it's just magic, what is the difference between a cat and a dragon?
Yeah, totally. 100%. Glossary. Whoa, daily life. This is fascinating. Wrath of the Herds. Emperors and Empresses, 10 cities, Adir, atheism. We can check in with this stuff as before, but at the same time, any one single thing here, Janine, that you want to take a quick peek at now? Sort of scrolling up and down to give you a sense of what we've got here.
Yeah. Wraith of the Herds?
Yep, sounds great.
Wrath of the Herds.
Whenever the Northerners interfere greatly with nature in a short time span, by clearing the forests, making roads, creating new fields, killing large amounts of wild game, especially during seasons other than spring, The wild creatures, from rodents to dragons, join forces to remove the threat. The animals can't get through the walls of the 10 cities, but the state doesn't have power to just expand its control as it pleases. The territorial expansion of the Northerners is extremely slow, and every city has at least 1,000 years of history behind it. This phenomenon doesn't occur in other parts of the world. Fascinating. Fascinating. You want to colonize this place? Good luck. Every time you build a road, every animal is going to unite to destroy you.
Yeah.
Deeply interesting. Okay. All right, well, thanks for your help. One more thing, if I can. The bearded man approaches you. Can you take the first watch? Splitting time between 3 people makes a great difference. You think for a moment. To fully rest, you'd need a good sleep. We should help these people out, I think.
Yeah.
I'm also wary of being...
They look even more tired than we do. Remember
Yes.
when we walked in, they were like falling asleep, basically.
It's also pretty wild to be like, hi, I'm the new Roadwarden. Sweet. Can you keep watch for us? Absolutely not. 2 good posts in chat that I like. Pinstripe Owl describes the Wrath of the Herds as Zelda cuckoo logic, of like a bunch of chickens just attacking you. And Odesk says nature is healing posts, but it's a bunch of creatures terrorizing a city. Butter and Cat says large cat union. All right, let's take a rest. Or rather, let's take a watch. Fabulous. He pats your shoulder. I'm the soldier who would say fabulous. That would be me. It should be calm, at least before midnight. Wake me up in a few hours, or even earlier if anything happens. You want to inflect this a particular way, Janine?
I don't know. They've been so friendly, but also it feels weird to be like, I'm happy to do my part, big smile. Some of it that feels like creepy to me.
No, yeah. You go to the barrels and splash water on your face, which makes you even more aware of how much you need a bath. After the night, it will only get worse. Your horse is already napping, still too anxious to lay down. Stay tidy to have a better chance to influence others. Appearance, 2 out of 5. You don't stand out from the crowd. You won't get much cleaner without a proper bath. Okay. I prepare for my watch.
The soldier in the shirt is eager to guide you. Just observe the area. There's plenty of griffins around, though they won't try to jump over the palisade, probably. Better watch out for the apes. They climb up and carry out any food they can find. Okay. And there's this one really loud were-elk that keeps smelling the wall, though it has never tried to get in. He points at a gate. The lieutenant and I will block the entrances. They're quite heavy, so if anyone comes here looking for shelter, better call us to help you out. And if this is someone being chased by wolves or anything, better throw them a rope instead. He scratches his head. If it gets cold, feel free to make a fire, and the best place is on the watchtower. You may want to put a blanket there or something.
Oh, Sugar Maple in the chat says, hate when the were-elk smells the walls. Double Forte says, oh, the wall sniffer? Like one of the Yule-lets? Austin says, this is Book of the New Sun to me. Some guy on says... Oh, God.
No, go ahead.
Some guy on says, I hate it when apes climb over my walls and steal anything they can carry.
The watchtower is going to be the boxes, I was going to say, right? That stack of boxes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But we got to... I have to know if we can... Apes.
Bestiary.
Apes and monkeys.
Oh, apes and monkeys.
Apes and monkeys. The limbs and tails of these furry critters have an uncanny strength, a result of the time they spend swinging from branches and climbing, doing their best to avoid the terrestrial predators. Unlike goblins, they rarely attack humans and don't use weapons, but can savagely defend their territories, to the point of participating in lasting wars with other packs, and even with human settlements. Fuck! I misclicked. Whoops. Oh well. Let me just get back to the apes. Here we go. Some tribes hunt for their meat, but these beasts are still hardly understood, and many tales ascribe to them unusual powers and abilities. The The communities that distinct apes from monkeys usually describe the former as the larger ones, with broader chests, and the latter as the smaller creatures with tails, but these labels don't always match the reality.
Could we also look up were-elk?
Yeah, let's see. No.
Ah. Come on.
No. Oh, sorry.
Boo.
Sorry, Janine. We gotta figure it out.
I just want to know what they're sniffing for.
What are they sniffing for?
What do they think's in there to sniff?
He gives you a long...
He gives you a...
Oh, sorry, it's you.
He gives you a long, puzzled look. Oh, here. He points to... Yeah, I knew it. Oh, my screen share went weird. He points at the pile of crates. Just climb up to the tallest one. You'll have a great view at the northern side, the more dangerous side. And also, I know you're tired after all that riding. He points at the tent on the other side of the camp. I can handle a couple hours of sleeping on the ground. If you wish, go there after me and rest. Just this once. At least I have a pallet inside.
Yeah, we should absolutely do this, right?
Yeah.
Dude's offering us a tent. I'm not gonna be like, no.
Yeah.
People in chat talking about how cool the Hunt Lords are. I'm so excited to learn about what Hunt Lords are, but we should do that as and when. You know, there's a version of this where we just go down the thing one by one, but I would much rather to discover it in the world. Thanks a lot. Oh, look at that! Getting more information. You put your blanket on the tallest crate and sit down. The night is warm, but the sporadic summer breeze brings gentle refreshments. It's late summer, right? From time to time, your back aches, and you have to force yourself to keep your eyes open. The light of the moon helps you focus on the tall grasses. For most of the time, you spot smaller critters and birds, but there are exceptions. At one point, you see 3-horned deer trying to challenge one another. Before they clash their antlers, a 2-legged dragonling appears, leading its much smaller offspring. The furry beasts try to intimidate these predators with roars and aggressive head movements. After a few moments, both sides walk away slowly, not willing to risk the fight, nor to admit their defeat. I don't let it distract me. I keep looking around.
You hear the death screams of distant prey and the mating calls of monkeys. Runners are chasing a gray hare. I said gray here. Runners are chasing a gray hare. A group of musk oxen lazily chew the grass, preparing themselves to sleep. A dusk fox is running together with a lynx, making playful screeches. Thankfully, you never have to intervene. You just sit there, watching the not-so-distant forest, trying to outlast your sleepiness. You can only guess how much time has passed. Once you feel you've had enough, you climb down and go to a tent, waking up the bearded man with just a couple of words. You confirm that nothing important has happened.
Gather my things and squeeze into the tent. I use my bag as a pillow, put my blanket on the pallet, and cover myself with a cloak. Sleeping in a tent is not the stuff of dreams, but it's a much welcomed rest. The pallet keeps the cold soil away. The moonlight saves the outside world from the eerie gloom. You listen to your own breath and find a comfortable position. Your job starts tomorrow. I focus on the real goal of my journey.
The Merchant Guild wants to take control of this realm. Your wardening duties are secondary. First and foremost, you need to explore the peninsula. Learn about the territory, resources, and threats. Get to know the locals, and if you can, convince them to consider negotiations with Havlaven officials and traders. Could the tribes resist the soldiers or be a threat to the priests of the United Church? Are there any forbidden practices that need to be eradicated, such as blood magic, necromancy, robbery, or slavery? Oh, I like that we're agents of this church that
we are. This is brilliant. This is the other shoe dropping. I'm Rue in the chat says, yep. We are not actually sent here to take care of people in the peninsula. We are the vanguard for a colonization project.
Mm-hmm.
At least I have time. 40 days to be exact. I need to be as thorough as I can. Once you finish your reconnaissance, you should speak with Tulia and return to Havlaven. There, you'll report back to your employers and get your reward. In the meantime, you have your own goal to pursue. Double 4J in the chat says, whoopsie daisy. Video Twitch says, oh joy. And our goals are this. I need to gather some extra coins so I can help a person I care about. I love that it's a specific person. I need to gather some extra coins so I can retire early and live in prosperity and safety. If I gather enough connections among the local leaders, I'll use them to become a major player in the Merchant Guild. I want to be remembered as the soul who brought peace and... Oh, Virginia. That's my desk. I want to be remembered as the soul who brought peace and order to this realm. A hero. I just want to help people. Make this region safer for the locals and the newcomers alike. And I need to find a new life for myself. I have a difficult past, and I want it to be forgotten. Do you have any thoughts?
I feel like, based on what we've already established, I'm very drawn to the last one.
Me too.
Yeah.
Like, I love the idea that we are a pagan who has had a mixed time with the church, and we take a job that's like, go north into the peninsula and prep it for conquest. And in the back of our mind, we're just thinking, like, what if we just leave? Like, what if we just don't come back?
Yeah, it's like, you're making that deal specifically because it's a way out.
Yeah. Even if right now the responsibility to get back is breathing down our necks. Yeah. New shelter unlocked. New entry, a new life. This is you, I think.
Your half-asleep senses are catching the sounds of the wild forest. Your instincts keep you alert and anxious, though the pleasant, humid, late summer air evens out slowly. You're thinking about your goal, but you need to gather your strength?
Yeah. You can't travel during the night. Press the sleep button to rest. Odesk says, that's what the last guy did. Yeah, as far as we know, if Asterion is alive, he has not reported back to Hovlevan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we can hit the sleep button to sleep. I like the way that what is happening in this central panel helps tutorialize how the right panel works. You know, like each of these is only introduced by text here, and here we have text grayed out until we interact with the panel. Really, really interesting. Sleeping in a tent. You can spend the night in a borrowed tent. It's nothing special, but it will protect you from the wind and the rain, and the ground won't be painfully hard nor cold. Plus health, minus hungry, minus clean. Yep, sounds about right. Look at the northern gates opened. You're woken up by sunlight, well rested and ready. Without haste, you gather your things. After only a couple of breaths, you notice a weird smell. Like a roast. No, burning meat. Burning, rotten meat. Disgust crawls into your consciousness. You exit the tent. Your horse is looking around nervously. Your bags are where you left them. You see an open gate. I decide to go outside to see what's happening. We can see here that it is now 14 hours and 30 minutes before dusk, day 1, 39 days before autumn. I love that it's so specific.
Both soldiers are standing near a humble pyre. The man in the shirt looks at it contemplatively. Tulia is the first one to address you. Leto, she greets you with a nod. We use the horse's manure for the flames, so don't worry about cleaning it up. You see a corpse among the flames. It's impossible to tell if it belongs to a male or a female, but it was an adult. The burning process won't be over for a couple more hours. Gross.
Pinstripe Owl asks, does time move with moving pages or literal time? I believe it's similar to the way it works in Disco Elysium, which is that it is governed primarily by moving through pages. A traveler or an undead? The latter. A young one. She lacked the pneuma to understand that she couldn't get inside the camp without climbing. I stabbed her with a spear from a safe distance. She shifts her weight. One more fog, and she'd be a real threat. Even now, it took a couple of hits to knock her down. Sooner or later, every human shell wakes up, gaining more strength with each soul it devours and each moment it spends in the fogs. Burning the dead is not just a religious practice, it's a necessity. Soldiers, priests, village mayors, even roadwardens, making a large pyre takes a lot of time, but it saves lives. Tulia calls this undead a she. Most unites hesitate to do so. Some guy in the chat says, God, this setting sounds like hell. I love it. Yuri Ranel says, so shell seems to be body, pneuma mind, and soul is soul, I guess. Yeah, pneuma is also the way we talk about magic, so I don't really know what's going there.
Mm-hmm.
I propose that we take
mana.
a brief look, at undead and fog.
Good call.
Glossary. There's fogs, but let's start with... we can also learn about Soul Shell and Numa if we want. But let's start with fogs. You want to read this one?
Yeah. Fogs appear in every season aside from spring, but the majority of them occur in autumn. They are feared and hated by the Northerners, since whenever they touch a dead human shell, they awaken it. It's unknown why this happens or why it doesn't affect animal carcasses, but the common understanding is that the fog itself contains dense pneuma, which then spontaneously fills an empty human shell, replacing one's soul. Humans can replicate this effect thanks to the forbidden art of necromancy. Fogs also increase the potential of spellcasters. The fog is power, the tablets say, and while most people stay inside their homes when it's around, it makes casting spells easier by supplying wizards with pneuma. During foggy days, magical potions are easier to brew, golems act faster, and the blood magic becomes less demanding.
Oh, the blood magic.
Yeah, I hate demanding blood magic.
Oh, yeah. All right. Soul Shell, Numa. Ooh, okay. Well, good to learn. The people of the land see a correlation between magic and breath. They describe all living creatures as empty shells filled with pneuma, the life force sustained by breathing. It's interesting that this is tied to fog, something that moves on the wind, air in that sense. Although I suppose fog is actually liquid, but They believe that creatures who use magic do so because of their souls, a unique identity held in their shells which turns pneuma into something greater. That's why almost the entirety of magic is used through speech and breathing. Thus, all living creatures use pneuma, but only a few are the soul carriers, humans and spirits such as the deities living in the forest, demons, or ghosts. All of these ideas are in some way lacking when they are confronted with reality. Some believe that dragons, goblins, beastfolk, or howlers do possess a soul, while others distinguish between souls of a higher and lower rank. It's not clear why some humans can cast spells by gestures alone, or why animals don't rise as the undead, or why a number of humans can't use magic at all, while the others have unusual talents. The various views and interpretations are not just a part of an advanced theological debate, but also shape stories and laws. Rites churches don't consider magic to be different from any other human activity, while minor religions believe that it's either an essential part of nature or a divine domain. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Well, I feel like we got sort of some idea of how that works.
Yeah.
I
guess it explains. Well, the fact that animals can't be zombified is interesting.
Yeah, especially given that we know that animals are kind of. Yeah, people's relationship with animals in this world is fascinating. Between the distrust and between. But the way that some animals are kind of just fine, roadwardens and people who ride horses know that horses are basically cool.
Yeah.
And then this response to with the wrath of the herds, animals as a sort of collective entity is really interesting. Time for me to leave.
Running away from the reek, huh? I don't blame you. She walks with you for a few steps. Find us here if you need us, or if you learn what happened to Asterion. There's enough ground here for you to rest. Safe travels. These words make you stop, an old farewell, mocked in a number of songs and tales. But yet you hear no scorn in Tulia's voice. You wonder how many acts of kindness like this one you're going to experience in the days to follow. She returns to the pyre.
I prepare myself for the journey. You somehow missed the fact that your mount is already saddled and warmed up. You double-check the equipment, but you don't need to fix anything. The soldiers were diligent. Normally, preparing any palfrey for a long journey takes a lot of time. You put on your gambeson and make sure that your axe is tightly attached to your belt, then get in the saddle. The palfrey nickers, ready to leave. It's time for you to get to the crossroads, north from here. I need to ride north. Use the travel button to see the map and move to another area. But before we do, I would love to just take 5 minutes.
Yeah, sounds good.
Move out of here. I'm really enjoying this, and I'm excited to keep playing for another, 40 minutes or so. But yeah.
Ideal.
We will see you in about 5 minutes. Bye. Hello, everybody. We've returned. We're back.
Mm-hmm.
We're back, and we're going north. North is where we're going. I ate some trail mix because I'm going on the trail.
What kind of trail mix? You get some gorp or some...
Gorp adjacent. It had like
Gorp adjacent? Mm-hmm.
Gorp adjacent. Yeah, it had like almonds, dates, peanuts, raisins. I suppose.
Adper?
Yeah.
Or DARP?
Or DARP. Yeah, I had DARP. The thing is, my ideal Gorp has some little chocolate in. Not a lot of chocolate, but just a little. Like a little bit of sweetness, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Gorp.
They sell like a Reese's Pieces trail mix, snack mix that's like, it's just on the wrong side of it, so you can't trick yourself into thinking it's healthy. But it is really nice to have a Reese's Pieces I
like Reese's Pieces.
Your mix.
Simply. Yeah. I'm simply a Reese's Pieces person.
They're very good.
Yeah. Ready to go north? Ready to begin our horrible journey?
Mm-hmm. I'm keeping my eyes peeled for that were-elk.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I got questions.
Look at this. We don't know shit.
Oh. We don't know anything. They should have given us a map or something, maybe. Perhaps.
Maybe. Yeah.
Or maybe that's our job.
Yeah, it might be. Travel forward to continue your journey. Once you're done with the north, that is to say, the whole game, speak with Tulia to return to Hovlovan. All right. Well, Tulia's camp, a military outpost surrounded by a wooden wall set in the middle of the valley. You're currently here. Even at a later hour, you wouldn't expect to meet any travelers in the valley. The warm summer breeze lures your mount forward, but the serene chirping of birds is quickly replaced by distracting screeches and gurgles coming from further down the path. You soon find the pack of four-legged griffins. They're larger than foxes, and merge the features of birds and furred beasts. Each one is of a different size, coat, and colours, and their temperaments are just as varied. Their fronts are covered with vivid feathers, while their rears have darker fur. Their wings are massive, making them impressive jumpers, but they're too heavy to fly. About 24 beasts are yelling, brawling, and chasing each other around, blocking your path. I consider my options.
You can't enter the forest blindly. If these or other creatures were to chase after you, the thicket would be disastrous for your horse. There are reasons why travelers stay as close to the main roads as possible, and why adventurers move in groups. Usually, the safest approach would be to stay where you are and just wait for the pack to get hungry. It may, however, take up to a couple hours. You're thinking about your conversation with Tulia. You've got a lot to do, and time may be of the essence.
The dice icon marks the actions that involve a random chance. On occasion, you can use the Scholar's Education to unlock unique interactions. This is great.
Oh.
If I had made this, I would engineer this so that this first encounter would always have a unique interaction tied to your class, so that you get the sense that that's something you can do.
Yeah.
Knowledge. Your education could be of use here. Like, for example, axing. Virginia, what is going on? Virginia, what did you knock something over? Just have to check if Virginia's knocked something over in the living room.
I love when a cat acts suspicious. They're just like incapable of messing up and then just like being cool about it. They just know and project it when they've done something bad.
She had not knocked something over. She was leaping in and out of the suitcase with wild abandon. So it was a game. All right, but as a key part of the game is that you frighten yourself and run away with your ears back. What is our knowledge unlocked? Whoa!
Ooh.
I mean, let's bomb
Gladon.
them. Why?
Dried skunks or... Yeah, why not? Fuck it.
Yeah, let's do it. Presumably we're not going to use all the dried skunk sorrel.
I think it's like a stink bomb.
Yeah, let's see.
Most bullying these griffins.
Most city folk feel aversion towards black powder, and you touch it with great care. The odor of the plants makes you feel dizzy, but what's more important is that the griffins have wolf-like sensitivity to smells and noises. A few of the beasts turn their heads towards you as you approach the pack with a bag in your hand. You ignite your missile and throw it forward. At first, the creatures surround the source of smoke, but then growl in disgust, even putting their beaks to the ground. They flee, allowing you to continue your journey.
Stink bomb.
Stink bomb! I climb on the horse and cover my nose. I really need to find a proper alchemy set. You can learn more about your abilities in the character sheet. Leto, the Roadwarden. After years spent on studying old codices and training, I left home to escape my difficult past. We're literate, and our education helps us solve many mysteries. And with access to an alchemy table and proper ingredients, we can brew useful balms and potions. And we can see, various stuff.
Did that make us extra stinky? Or no?
No. We
stinky.
were already pretty stinky. Lies.
Okay.
God, that's sick. They're keeping track of lies we've told.
And sewing
Whoa.
experience.
And sewing experience. And
Spared
gambling
animals.
experience.
That's
Spared animals.
okay. Interesting. The road splits. According to what the soldiers have told you, you may find a safe inn by turning left. The forest to the right is lush and the trail overgrown. Kids used to have this song. How did it go? The harshest pathway leads to the dragon's lair.
Clap, clap.
Those who search for treasure, do you truly dare?
Right. Those who search for treasure, search it in the woods. Searching for the treasure makes you very good. My dad got killed by a bear. And then the second verse is all about the variety of animals that have killed your family members. Even I mistrust a cat.
Kids. I love Roadwarden kids.
Roadwarden kids. A horrible puppet.
The
sorry, please
signpost
continue.
in front of you doesn't make your situation much clearer. It was put here by someone who can't write, for folks who can't read. Covered in old red paint, it points east. Blood there, as people say. Danger to be found. There's not a soul to ask for guidance.
Keep track of your achievements as your journey unfolds. My name is Leto. I used to be a scholar. Oh, whoa, that's it? Nothing happens? If I click on this? Whoa, that's really cool. It's not in our journal, is it? Nope. Just letting us know that we're Leto and we used to be a scholar.
Yeah.
What's this? Oh, it's just telling us that we can practice alchemy. Okay. I look at my horse. What's its name?
I thought it said soda. I thought its name was Soda.
Soda.
Coke.
We're not calling our horse
Pepsi.
Coke. No. What's the character limit?
Many.
Ooh. Princeton says they're tastefully in the chat. Fizzy lifting drink says Cascon. Ruler says Duck. Duck is a good name for a horse, but we're Leto, and the horse is called. What if we
Spade. I don't know.
just name it after the previous?
That's messed up.
Oh, we did the time warp again. Says sentence name.
Oh, sure. No, you can't. Rude. I feel like coming up with one of those sentences is like looking at a magic eye picture, right? It's like a thing where you have to like slightly cross your eyes and space out, and it doesn't take forever. It's just like you just have to like turn your brain off and tap into it. Like,
yeah. Oh, specifically for an excerpt name, or do you mean for a horse?
Well, I mean sentence names, right? Like so like an excerpt.
Yeah, you're right. You can't launch yourself
the beaten
into
path that forked west.
Yeah.
Like you just have to.
I don't want to name our horse Beaten. Oh, I'm not on a very good keyboard.
Is it Aspen or Aspens in this situation?
Otherwise known as Aspens. The horse is known as... No, the horse is not called Aspens.
It's called Forking?
The horse is not called Forking.
Is it called West? Is it called Between?
Ah, my horse Between.
Path Fork?
Oh, Duke Biscuit suggests Look West, which is a good name, especially because, Ged's boat is called Look Far in the Earthsea series, and I feel like this is very adjacent to Earthsea.
I agree.
I like Look West. Was it one word?
I like it all one word.
Yeah, me too.
It's like fun.
Yeah. Great. Horse named.
Also, I have to really quickly grab a package from the doorway.
Oh yeah, go for it.
My stupid interface arrived now.
Oh, before we were recording, Janine was like, "Oh, I've had an interface coming today." Go for it. Well, Look West and I will wait here. I think we're probably going to go for another 30 to 45 minutes, I can imagine. It's one of these games where there is so much text, and I know that there are different schools of thought about reading text on a stream. The school of thought that I come from is that I love to watch streams when I am doing the dishes or hoovering or tidying or writing something, and I like hearing it read aloud if I'm not able to see the screen. So I apologize if people are able to read faster than we are reading it aloud, but I think that's the way it goes. We Did the Time Warp Again says, a stream is just a more casual podcast to me. Yeah, thank you. Dulwich says, I'm enjoying listening to this stream more than I enjoyed playing the game. Yeah, it's I've definitely been on both sides of this, but I do tend to fall on, like, it's nice to do something else, walk around the house, you know? Arp says, cleaning right now would be unwatchable without your reading. Beloved child of the house is sewing a rug. Yeah, what are folks doing?
Ooh.
Butter and Cat is cooking a soup. Potato Nord is working on another computer. I'm playing Roadwarden. What are you doing, Janine?
I'm dusting the snow off of this electronic device.
Is it very snowy for you? I know you said it was cold.
It's like, there's like 2 inches or something. More than that? I don't know. It's bad. I heard plowing all night, just like scraping.
Oof. I'm Rue is playing Elden Ring, Odesk is reading slides, Starcat is doing pixel art in Splatoon, Sapphire Rose is about to make scones, Galliford is writing a paper for social work grad, Blue Bull is fucking off at work, great. Arp is rebuilding a terrarium, Sugar Maple is doing Sudoku, Number One Void is repairing their jeans, Endipity is modeling a shrine in an abandoned train car for class, Velcar Fricative is sitting at the desk writing a message on Twitch, ignoring work, packing up an apartment, having a fever, no, feel better.
Oh no.
Fly Sweetman is doodling, Eel Dilemma is knitting, Jay Harkins, time theft. Wintorn is playing Warframe, working on commissions, playing Marvel Snap, rolling a smoke, doing dissertation coding. Everybody's doing stuff. I feel like I'm in a Richard Scarry book where everybody
geez.
It's great. I actually really like it. Putting patches on pants over here, also playing Marvel Snap, painting. More people are excited about time theft, getting angry on Twitter. Yeah, I gotta say, friends at the table, very pro time theft. If you're able to be watching this while you're doing something else. Procrastinating.
Listen, sometimes you gotta listen to a thing to do other things. That's just how brains are sometimes.
Yeah, Vila Fricative says the terrifying realization that everyone everywhere is doing something. Yeah, totally. Cooking chicken soup. All right, let's get to it. Look West is peaceful as you stroke its mane. Maybe it can't help you choose a path, but you've spent many years together. It's Roach. Geralt and Roach. Happy to go on, it takes a couple of steps forward. I suppose what it actually is people and their horses. I have friends who have horses or donkeys or mules, and it's like, yep, that's Michael. Him and I hang out. You spot a few berry shrubs and wild cabbages, but they still need at least 2 weeks to gain maturity. Well, luckily, we're probably going to be here in 2 weeks. Time to make a turn. Now. A point connecting the deep forests of the east, the western wetlands, and the road to Hovlovan. You're currently here. We know that there is blood to the east, and we know that the inn, the Pell to the north, is to the west. So my proposal is that we start traveling around the circle in this direction.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea.
Yeah. Let's do it. Look west trots with ease, unbothered by the few branches covering the beaten road. The bird songs and distant howls draw your attention to the forest, which gets sparser and brighter. You spot boars, roe deer, and saurians. The sight of a wolf pack worries you, but once you push your hips forward and your palfrey enters a canter, the beasts don't even begin a pursuit. The speed alone will protect you from many dangers. You notice a stone tower, taller than the trees. It must be the inn I've heard about.
Red Corby in the chat says, would have been a little weird to name a horse Look West, then go east.
No, sorry, horse.
Inns like this one fit the regions traveled by merchants, but you wouldn't expect a place of this size in a forsaken peninsula. The stone and lumber must have been transported from far away, and the workers, guarded by expensive mercenaries, surely lived for many seasons in a primitive hamlet subsisting on salted supplies. There are seemingly no cracks in the wall, and the building was whitewashed only a few years back. The road is wide and beaten. Dozens of souls could hide, if not in the buildings, then at least in the yard. The expenses and labor put into this fortress were worth many trading ships. 3 armed people are on the ramparts, though you only see what's above their waistline. They're leaning on the parapet, right next to the gate, and you think you notice a glimpse of a smile. They wear gambesons, each one of them dyed differently, yellow, green, and linen gray.
I love that this place is like in really good shape. It's very, very
It's
interesting.
more reinforced than the camp we were just in.
Yeah, it's like...
It gets to have stone walls and an actual tower, not a pile of boxes.
Uh-huh. A woman in yellow armor leans forward. She has long, curly, disorderly red hair pointing in every possible direction. This combination of colors doesn't work at all. In the woods, one would have to shout to draw this much attention. There's still a fair distance between the two of you, but she speaks loudly. I haven't seen a horse for years now. I just said that it's weird to see such a large jackass, huh? Her voice is young and strong, with an accent that reminds you of the villages spread around Hovlovan. But no jackass would wear a saddle, I'd say. She exchanges a few words with a male guard wearing green, giving you time to move closer. Well, this one here says there really are donkey saddles. Say, traveler, how hard is it to ride a horse? How about you give it a try? I laugh. You wouldn't believe it. The lessons were a pain. It's easy to learn the basics, but it's tiring. You train different muscles than those for combat. I don't answer her. It's an inn, isn't it? Open the gate. Or... quite hard, honestly. Some days it's still rough on me. I just want to go in the inn.
We can't start crying the second we see a Ronald McDonald cosplayer. Like, it's just...
Ronald, let me in!
I feel like it should be jokey, right?
Yeah, she seems funny. And,
yeah.
You know, I don't think that Leto is, like, just sour all the time. You know, I think we have the capacity to be funny.
Yeah.
I laugh. You wouldn't believe it. The lessons were a pain.
You get off your horse and imitate the silly walk from the day that followed your first long journey, when your whole shell was crying. You illustrate the pain as you move your hand from your back to hips, then thighs. In return, the guards tell you about the time when they had to carry their friend with bitten off legs for 3 days straight through the heart of the woods. Meanwhile, the other guards open the gate. Cool. You may be in a good mood, the woman in the yellow jacket smiles at you, but don't get so noisy when you talk to our boss. The man never smiles. He has the world's suffering sculpted on his face. She leads you under the roof under which your palfrey can rest, tethered with a cord to a wooden post, near some old hay. Once you're ready, go inside, speak with our boss. Maybe you're hungry? The other guards take care of various chores. They peek at your mount every now and then as they're splitting firewood, cleaning their clothes, weeding the garden patches, and moving chairs. 2 of them are making a rope. You head toward the inn, hearing the piercing scream of a boar from the other side of the yard.
Yeah, those stories don't match. Someone in the chat says, read the story carrying their friend with bitten off legs for 3 days straight. That's like a horse.
Yeah.
I opened the door. Oh, I love that we got a similar story from her as we did from Tulia about how the boss is not a jovial sort.
Yeah.
Like, these are real characters who have traits that multiple people have picked up on.
And also, if we'd messed up with Tulia, we would have a plan B to get that info.
And from a game design perspective or a narrative design perspective, even though that information isn't necessarily critical, I'm sure we'll be fine if we joke around with the boss or whatever, it is good to communicate to the player that your countenance is going to affect others in one way or another. Yeah. So it's less about
and that there is info available.
Yeah, totally. It's less about getting that specific information and more about knowing mechanically that it is something that you're going to be thinking about. Really, really cool setup. The locked windows make the air stuffy, and the weak fire in the stove hardly lightens up the hall. A muscular man is sweeping the floor near the stairs, but after he glances at you, he leans the broom against the wall and heads behind the counter. Such a good detail. We could so easily have walked in here and he's just behind the counter, but the fact that the innkeeper is sweeping up, and then as he sees you come in, he's like, all right, fine, time to, do the other bit of my job. You're lucky to show up. His voice is deep and soft. Oh, if you're at an inn in the morning, you can spend the entire day on resting. With a city-like accent. He observes you with keen attention, yet avoids your eyes. I've a keg of decent ale. Wormwood, bog myrtle, juniper berries, cat's foot. He fills a mug carefully and puts it on the countertop. It's going to spoil soon. Today maybe, and we don't drink here before the even. I hate to see the good stuff going to waste. His skin is dark, almost purple, rare even among the southern tribes, and his hair is naturally bluish. His clothes are quite fancy for manual labor. The elegant tunic wouldn't stand out in the city square. I stand at the counter.
The planks let out a creak after every step you make, so you slow down a bit. You could swear that the innkeeper made little to no noise. Here you go. He pushes the mug forward. But just so you know, my pelt of the north doesn't belong to Hovleven. You can sleep on the floor if you wish so, but if you want a better meal, you have to pay. We may have some leftovers from dinner, but I'd need to check.
Thanks for the drink. I see you know how to make friends with the Roadwarden. Happy to help. As a Roadwarden, I'm more than capable of taking care of the entire cask if you need me to. He'll hate this. I won't stay here for long. I'm not here to pay compliments to piss in a mug. I'm a... Jesus. I don't think we need to go this far. I'm a Roadwarden and I'm looking for answers. Thank you. I'm a Roadwarden, so I never refuse a free drink.
That's
I'm just so tired.
Is that one sad or is that like...
I don't know. How's this vulnerable? Be sad, tired,
vulnerable.
afraid, or
Okay,
hopeless.
okay.
Yeah. We should just be distanced here, right?
Yeah.
Just
He'll
straight down the
appreciate
middle, Yeah. He nods and fills another mug, this time with water. I guess there's no point in waiting for Asterion then. I'm glad to see someone taking his place. Even my crew here hits the road only if they need to see the healers of Howler's Dell. Oh, that's a place that we want to go to, despite the name. And they're more than resourceful. A Roadwarden is always going to find work here in the north. Though, maybe not on the eastern road. He takes a mouthful of water and drinks it with a pleased sigh. There are no guests here at this time, or hardly ever. I could take a short break. For a brief moment, he meets your eyes. Well, we should drink the ale,
Yeah.
This one seems to be free.
The dark room and wooden walls of the mug make the liquid look as brown as a chestnut. The lee and spring hides your nose, and the first sip is even too complex, too flowery. While the brewer has used fancy ingredients, the exotic licorice ruins the aftertaste. Oh yeah, that sounds gross. Now you know why there's so much left. Maybe it takes an acquired taste. The innkeeper nods. I was hoping to see someone willing to patrol the roads. Maybe you'll help me with a worrying thought I have.
Uh-oh.
Which is?
There are brigands in the woods. Our place is a stronghold, so I'm not afraid of an open strike. Yeah, you're in a fucking castle. But they've gotten more active in the last 2 years. One day they may steal our furs, and I've no doubt they're the reason why merchants come here only once. Having bandits around gets expensive. He rubs his hands together, camouflaging his paws. I want you to reach Howler's Dell, northwest from here. It's the largest settlement around. I'm sure you'll get there sooner or later. Ask Thais, the mayor, about Glaucia, that bloodthirsty wolf of a woman. I've heard rumours about a raid in the north. If Glaucia's ready to break the truce with the locals, I'm willing to join forces with them to get rid of her band. He looks at a nearby dragon bone. Not too difficult, right? Just do it when you have a chance. A couple of days won't make much of a difference. I'll pay you 2 coins when you get back with the news. Fine? Do we haggle? Like, dude is comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah?
You don't sound terribly convinced.
I don't know. It's one of those things where, because we're so early on, it affects the way I look at everything.
In the sense that we don't really know how these things might have an effect.
And also, like, the stakes are so... it's easy to trick yourself into thinking, like, well, it's early. This stuff will be easy to deal with.
Yeah,
that's probably not the case, necessarily.
Another way of thinking about this is, will we want the money later?
That's a good point.
Because this is an interesting choice. Usually in games when you can haggle, money in games is so fucked that you mostly have enough money for everything in games, unless it's like very expensive things. But I have a feeling that so usually when, like in Skyrim or something, I'm like, pay me 30 gold. What I'm actually saying is like, I want more gold. I want to just have the gold number to be higher. But I feel like this is the kind of game where the amount of Dragonbone we have is going to affect the stuff we can do, right?
Yeah. I wish there was an option here for, like, I'll do it if you let me use a room and also take a bath.
Yes.
And then also 2 coins. Instead of saying 3 coins, like, what if 2 coins, but also I get to wash myself?
I'm gonna haggle. Let's see what happens. He nods with a smile. What else do you need? New entry, Glaucia's Band. Quests. Explore the peninsula. I need to explore the peninsula as thoroughly as I can. I have to get to know the locals and find out how much of a profit can be made here, then bring the news to Hovlevan. I have to leave the peninsula on the 40th day of my journey, or sooner. To add worth to my work here, I could secure the roads by getting rid of any major threats and convince the tribes to negotiate with the officials. Soldiers told me about a large village that repeatedly uses necromancy, even though it's forbidden by law and can be extremely dangerous. Not to us, we think it's great. I should take a look and judge for myself. The village is somewhere among the bogs by the northwestern road. I want to escape my difficult past. I could make a place for myself by staying loyal to the Merchant Guild, or maybe pursue another opportunity while I'm here. So the game is fully open about the fact that we might not, they don't take as written the fact that we're sticking with the Merchant Guild. Find Asterion. According to Pelt's Innkeeper, Glaucia and her band have broken the truce with the local villagers. He's going to pay me 3 dragons if I get in touch with Thais, the mayor of Howler's Den, and bring him her response. Yeah, we don't have anything about Glaucia or Thais yet. What we should do is make a save. Bing! I love this save menu. You just go boom!
Oh yeah, that's great.
I can delete this one, but it's just like, blunt, save. I don't want it over there. I'm happy with this one. It is also auto-saving, but it hasn't done it yet.
Okay, I was wondering.
I could eat something.
Like, is this a game that doesn't save?
No. Do you have any leftovers? What do you have for sale? Do I have anything you'd like to buy? Shit, we can just sell them stuff. I'm looking for Asterion, the previous Roadwarden. What can you tell me about the peninsula? I didn't expect to find an inn of this size in a place such as this. About Glaucia's band, any rumors worth sharing, or that's all I need. I go outside. We should go through all of these, right?
Yeah, we also do need to eat.
We do. What is this icon representing to you, Janine?
The food one, you mean?
Yeah.
So to me, when I just like glance at it really quick, and my first thought when I saw it was that it was some kind of brain. That it was like a brain. It was like your brain. Looking at what it's supposed to be and what it represents, I guess it's like a bowl with some goop, like 2 piles of goop.
Yeah. Keith in the chat says egg meter. Robodendron suggests bread basket, which is what I think it is. But you're right. Up until this point, I had also thought it was an organ. I thought it was a visual representation of a stomach. But if that was so, I don't know, A, why it would look like that, and B, why it would deplete backwards, like upwards. A small dragon says ice cream. Trick and Schamberger says ice cream. Sly Sweetman says ice cream sundae. Some guy says ice cream.
Yeah.
It's ice cream.
Does look very ice cream.
Do you have any leftovers?
Yes, I feed them to our boar. I won't give them away for nothing. He tells you to wait, then leaves the building for a few minutes and returns with a wooden bucket and a long stick ending with a hook. Go through the gate and turn left. You'll see a bunch of bushes. We need some... Oh, okay. We need some berries. Bring me a bucket full. You'll be done in half an hour or so. Your horse could use a nap anyway, and I'll prepare something to fill you. The hook is not made of metal or wood. It's a long, curved claw, almost black. I truly, in my soul, thought he had given us this bucket and this hook, and he was going to send us out to the pig trough to fish out the leftovers. He'd already fed to the boar.
I'm the worst man. Would you like my boar food?
And you have to use the hook so the boar won't eat your hand.
It's quite a lot of time for berry picking, but yeah, let's do it. You know, we need to eat.
I mean, what else are we gonna do?
Yeah.
We're at the inn. Like, we're gonna spend the night at the inn probably, right?
This is it's the morning, but, you know.
Yeah, like, I guess... it is the morning. But also, are we gonna just, hungry. Like, go past an inn without sleeping?
Yeah, we're stopping off here to get the lay of the land, get a meal, take a shower, charge the phone, or bounce.
Yeah, I think this is a good idea.
The tools are cold, not too heavy. You notice a pair of thick gloves at the bottom of the bucket. The berries are not a problem. The innkeeper smirks. Unlike the snakes, better scare them away with a stick or move them with a hook, and protect your hands. The little ones won't eat you, but don't get bitten. I'm sure you know how to be patient. Yikes.
So it's a snake hook. Cool.
My snake hook. Snake hook. Tools for berry picking. A set given to you by the innkeeper from Pelt of the North. A hook, a pair of gloves, and a bucket to help you forage for berries. The hook has caught your eye. Its head is made from a dark animal claw. People in the countryside often use bones, claws, tusks, or even stones to make tools or weapons. But this one is quite large. I love that just the tiny detail of like, oh, the head of the hook is weird, or the head of the hook has caught our attention. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just opening up the chat on my phone because my computer's about to die.
Oh, no.
Not the computer I'm streaming on, my laptop.
Okay.
I don't fucking know how to use Twitch. I'm trying to make it only show me the chat, but it is showing me a... Oh, I've got it now. A Hardy's ad. Cy Sweetman says, well, we know from the recent Nancy Drew LP that picking produce where there is a snake has an easy solution. Just walk away and return immediately. Yep. I'm propping my phone up. I've propped my phone up.
It'd be amazing if someone made a game like this that secretly the solution to everything was from a Nancy Drew game.
It's just hidden away, but once you see it, if you know, you're like, shit, this happened in Secret of Shadow Ranch. The real giveaway was when that ghostly horse galloped up to me and the pump house exploded. Pinstripe Owl asks, do you think we get a sense of whether the inventory/glossary has a narrative voice/perspective or is sort of impartial? Always interesting here. My guess is that it is impartial, based on the way they talked about, like, the heretical tribes of the North or whatever, you know. This seems to be a game that is pretty conscious of the fact that that is a viewpoint that is being held by a like the community in charge and might not necessarily be real. We'll see.
Yeah, I think it's presented very much as just like, this is the information you've been given.
Yeah, totally. By the people in
information that you have broadly. Like, cats are scary. These people are bad because of the church says so. But it's still the church saying so. So like, who knows?
This is why I'm fascinated about the Necromancer Village, and I'm really curious as a kind of test for I want to be clear, not a test of like, is this game good, or even like, is this game morally sound or whatever, but more like meeting the necromancers is going to be a real test of what we have been told about the world versus what is actually happening in the world. And I'm curious to see how that plays out. I have some other questions. We can do the berry picking in a bit.
Yeah.
What do you have for sale? I can go and pick up a few things for you. Some food for your travels to start with. Apples, nuts, sausage, not too many at once. We need to maintain our supplies. I've got an elk fur I don't need. Its buyer was caught by a pack of red wolves. Nice for a sleeping spot, just as nice for a wall. An almost untouched bowl of soap, priceless for a traveller. You can't tell if he's being sarcastic. Made a fine oak ash. Strong, though. You should have some better supplies before you start your own bathhouse. After you mention you'd like something more useful on these roads, he looks down. I don't have any blades or armour to spare, but if you pay well, you can take one of our crossbows and a bunch of quarrels, a yew-bow, wool cords, and the trigger needs just a little bit of oil. It's as good as you can get without soaking it in magic. Takes a bit of muscle to draw, but even a 16-year-old could handle it. I won't sell it cheap, but I'm ready to give a discount to a helpful ally. Let me take a look at what you have first. Good to know that this guy's selling a crossbow. That seems like it could come in handy. Okay. Crossbow is 30 gold. We have 5. So that's really something to think about. Food is always good, given that we only have 2.
This economy is confusing.
In what way?
Just in the way where they're like, one bone gets you 5 days in an inn, or it gets you a handful of nuts.
Yeah.
Or a box of soap.
It gets you 5 days at an inn in Hovlovan, but out here on the peninsula, it might...
True.
True.
That's a good point.
I think that maybe picking up some food is a good idea, and I know we're not going to get a discount on it. Yeah, let's get 1. We have 5 gold.
I think that's smart.
5 dragon bones. You bought 3 food rations?
Whoa.
Oh, it does say 3 filling meals that won't spoil any time soon.
Oh, that's a great deal.
Now, do we want to grab some soap while we...
Why does it burn skin?
Because it's got lye in it. It's like oak ash,
all
so I have to
soap
imagine
does.
he said it was very strong soap. So,
yeah.
Early soap was pretty brutal.
Yeah. Soap might be... We're so filthy, and I'm so unsure of how this game will let us wash.
And it's 1 gold.
That it's very tempting.
Yeah. You add the soap to your travel set. Do you have anything I would like to... No, fuck. Do I have anything you would like to buy? Let's see what you've got. Select an item you'd like to offer. Different traders are interested in different goods. They will purchase only some of the things you have to sell, and their offers may vary. I mean, I'm not going to sell it to him, but I'm curious about what the price of this is. He will give us 8 coins. And it's interesting that his hunters always need more healing potions, but the monks are hesitant to sell them. What's that about?
Good question.
Nope. I'm not selling it to you. And I'm also, in fact, double checking that we still have it. We do. Okay.
Good. Yeah, that's all is a little bit like ambiguous.
All right. Shall we ask about the previous Mrs. De Winter? The first Mrs. De Winter? Yeah. What's she called? the real Mrs. De Winter?
Are you now? He goes to the table and invites you to sit down with him. I don't think I'm going to be of much help. He rests his elbow on the tabletop and grunts quietly to clear his throat. But I do want you to find him, so... When asked about his intentions, he measures his words. Astarion and I made a risky deal. Well, a very promising one. Last time he was here, he took 50 coins, my half of the investment. He knocks on the table with a fist anxiously. If you get my coin, or at least find out what happened to the guy, I'll make sure you won't be disappointed after bringing me the news.
They made a deal, a promising deal. Astarion and this wealthy innkeeper. And Astarion took the gold, presumably to act on the investment, and then vanished. Interesting. That's crossbow money. Could it be that Astarion's...
50 gold, or 50 bone coins that's a lot.
Yeah. I am so curious about, like... The previous Roadwarden was out here making deals worth 50 coins with the local innkeeper. Well, worth 100 coins. His half of the investment. He looks at a window and starts to play with the shutter. I just think Astarion ain't the kind of soul that would do such a thing. For him, it wasn't much of a fortune. He's fucking rich, and I'd risk saying he'd earn my trust. Not only mine, you know. It's easy for a Roadwarden to make connections. He always had places to go, things to take care of. He rubs the table with his thumb, as if trying to clean an invisible stain. I've asked travelers. I've sent a couple of my pals to find him, no real news. I know he stayed in White Marshes for a day and was meant to do something for the people there. It's a village in the northwest. Just stay on the main road until you reach the bogs, then enter them. You may get there before dusk. So, let me know once you find anything, or we may yet return to this whole investment thing. I'll think about it. Journal updated. Find the Roadwarden. And I bet it's going to be like... Yep, right before Astarion's disappearance, the innkeeper gave him 50 dragons for some sort of investment. He was last seen in White Marshes. What can you tell me about the peninsula?
What could anyone say? This place doesn't even have a name unless there's an old book in an archive that no soul knows about. You know what I'd call everything from here to the coast? The hunting ground. He glances at your eyes. But it's not us who hunt, keep that in heart, but the beasts in all shape and forms. His words gain confidence slowly, which is strengthened by his deep voice. I've lived in this inn for over 10 years now, and I've only seen a couple of roads, a couple of places. It's just, once you get here and you see how harsh it is to hit the road, you have only more reason to stay in the warm stove behind a wall, even if it's suffocating. He looks towards the windows. I'm sure you've heard a lot already, that the people don't build hamlets anymore. There are no more ibexes from the south, and the traders stay for only a few days. All of our iron is used for cauldrons, not swords or tools.
Fascinating. I'm sorry about the Discord sound. I made it disappear. The Discord sound will no longer sound.
My watch kept dinging, so I had to take it off and put it, to one side.
I love that this place doesn't have a name. Or, well, this guy doesn't know if this place has a name.
Mm-hmm.
What will I find traveling west? Well, there are hills nearby. Then you'll find a village, maybe an hour away from here. It was destroyed by beasts almost a decade ago. Nothing to see there. The goblins live there now, so most people just travel around it, and they say it's haunted. But who knows? Who cares? Wow, that's nearby. An hour away? He crosses his arms and starts to sway back and forth, gathering his thoughts. You'll get to a large tree on the edge of the swamp. For the locals, it's sacred. You're not used to hearing someone mentioning pagans as if there's nothing unusual about them. There's a small path south, which leads to an old mine in the mountains. Nothing to find there. But keep riding north and you'll find Howler's Dell, set at a clean brook. Farmers live there, and mouflons, and druids. They'll let you stay for a night, but they're not cheap. If anyone thinks my prices are bad, that means they ain't been to the Ape Ale Inn yet. He lets out a gentle smile. I smile politely.
I'm obsessed with mouflons. I want to see one.
Yeah, me too.
I'm guessing it's like a sheep-like thing.
Yes, that is my guess.
I know only a bit about the next settlement, Old Pagos. The soil there ain't too fertile, so they work on their quarry and help other settlements build things in exchange for crops. The forests and hills ain't too harsh, but the Seekers have a small monastery nearby in the mountains. I don't care much about them. They keep to themselves and they don't pay well. The third village is unknown to me, White Marshes, set at the bogs. I've heard it smells like a griffin's lair. I've heard a lot of nasty rumors about the place, but I won't share them. I don't want to be a lie spreader.
Unlike Tulia.
So three villages really. Howler's, the one near the monastery, whatever it's called, and Marshes. Don't let their beds and palisades fool you, though. Weird people live there. Don't tell them more than you need to. You wonder if it's something he would tell other travelers as well. I wonder if Marshes is the zombie place.
I think it is.
Two people have described it as weird.
The other thing we know about White Marshes is where Asterion was last seen.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
I believe. Find the Roadwarden. Asterion was last seen in White Marshes.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The eastern roads as rough as I've heard. Pretty much. Don't leave the main road, I'd say. Not so far from here, you'll find an old dolmen. A few of my people had to spend a night there, and the monkeys stole food and gouds? Maybe gourds? I don't know. From their bags. It was their fault. One of them had fallen asleep in the middle of his watch, but you know. The eastern forests are wild, the roads are rough. Almost no soul lives there. One day all these roads will be swallowed by the trees again. Not if our boss has a plan. The furthest my team has ever gone was the home of the Enchantress. Just stay on track, this is to the east, until you reach the crossroads, right near an abandoned watchtower. From there, turn east. You'll recognize the place. It's a nice home in a lonely meadow, surrounded by a wall. He looks towards the closed window, then at you again. Kind of like our walls, but simpler, without coating. She lives as a hermit, Eudocia. I don't even know how she survives there, but if you don't have decent coin, you won't find much there. So, back to the crossroads. If you turn left instead, you'll see a road. People stay away from it. It connects the tower and the monastery, a shortcut between the two sides of the peninsula. I was warned by the locals not to use it. It already belongs to the beasts. So that's our way to cross the wheel. There's a road running through the middle between a tower and a monastery.
Definitely.
Have you ever been to the northern coast, which we know is rocky, right? And you can't really land boats there.
I only know about another inn. It's far from here, maybe a day on foot, a bit less from the eastern side. His eyes once again focus on the floor. I've never been there, but I've heard it's a safe place, close to villages of fishers and hunters, though I don't know much about them. This
isn't the Ape Ale Inn. The Ape Ale Inn is in Howler's Dell or wherever, I think. It's another inn. Okay, that's all I need. I didn't expect to find an inn of this size in a place such as this. Ah, so you know a thing or two after all. His mocking tone is soon replaced by a gentle smile. It was built long before we arrived. Didn't work out well for the previous owners. Once the war ended, they left. Not enough travellers, bad trade, the villagers stick to themselves. We, however, came prepared, and now we're prospering. Fuck! I misclicked. When you ask him how they can afford all the supplies, he runs his fingers through his dark hair. I'm not against running an inn, but we don't rely on guests. We're the ones doing all the trading. My hunters are a clever bunch and stay safe in the forest. In exchange for furs, claws, and bones, we get what we need, and more, both from the south and the north. He relaxes in his chair. We have a good life here. We spent a whole lot on armor, crossbows, lumber, spears, but in another 10, maybe 20 years, we'll have enough savings to move to Hovlavan and not work for another day of our lives. We take risks, but smartly. The team is stronger than ever, and I have big plans for us. It's an entrepreneur.
Yeah, he seems okay. He's not an asshole. He's just a serious guy.
Butter and Cat says, "Oh, cool. Really safe, normal, abandoned inn." It does seem that they abandoned it because once the war ended, the situation wasn't good, but they kind of swept in. Do we want to ask this man? It's surprising to find a purple-skinned man so far in the north.
What? Did I miss that he has purple skin?
He does. He has very dark, almost purple skin.
Huh. I feel like it's rude to ask that, though.
It does seem rude to ask that, yeah. Are we rude? I don't know.
I don't know.
Let's ask about the inn's name, at least.
I mean, there's a story, but not a good one. He clears his throat. For years, I wanted to have an inn called Pelt, but in my city, it would be in bad taste. Taverns and inns named with a single word were cheap and had a nasty reputation. There was the Claw and Mugger, Basilisk, and Blissful, I think. The good places used at least 2 words: empty barrel, a rose and a helmet, Empress's smile. Pighead was the exception. It was a real dive. He chuckles. In my soul, it's still just a pelt. Pelts are what we came here for and what will make us reach our goals.
This dude does not want to be an innkeeper. He wants to be a small business owner, and the business is pelts. Pinstripe Owl in the chat says, this is a Nancy Drew question. If I was Nancy Drew, I would answer this question without thinking about it. I would ask it, I'd just be like, you, why are you purple?
Yeah.
But let's move on. Sorry. got a little cough, about Gloucester's band. He freezes, observing your hands silently. He wants me to get the answer from the mayor of Howlersdale. And as a reminder, the thing that we're looking for here is we are going to see if, from Howlersdale, if the bandits are making a move up there. Because if they are, we could propose a coalition between the people of Howlersdale and the Pelt of the North to fight the bandits. I'm on it. Any rumors worth sharing? Now, I think something happens when you click this prompt that the first time I played the game, I was like, oh shit, this game is really cool. But I don't know if it's here, so we will see. Oh yeah. He crosses his arms. I don't like to talk to people who ain't near... Sorry, I don't like to talk about people who ain't nearby. This guy's just a stray shooter, but you know what you're doing. Who are you wondering about? Ready? Tell me about...
Oh. Were-elk.
Who are you asking about? Example, Empress. Use your keyboard to name people that you are interested in. Yeah, we should look up Were-elk straight away. I want to say that this is not a new thing, or at least it's new nowadays. This method of getting information, is right out of first the early days of like MUDs and text parser games, and then latterly the Ultima games in the 90s, late 90s. Also did this a lot in a more traditional like fantasy graphical game setting where you just go and talk to a guy and be like, what's the deal with blank? But it is so cool to see in a game released in 2022 and was a moment where I was like, shit. I think this was also the moment where I was like, oh, I don't have time to play this.
Yeah. Austin in the chat just says this whips.
Yeah, it fucking rules. Use your keyboard to name people that you're interested in. The immediate side effect of this mechanic, right, is it inflects so differently than it would in a fantasy game if, for example, a bunch of names popped up. Because we need to know who we want to ask about. And right now, who I want to ask about is... Welk. I can't put in a hyphen. I don't know
I don't think it has one. Aww.
All right, well, let's just do this.
Yeah.
I think this is you.
I ain't seen Tulia in quite some time. Since her squad vanished in the fog, she's been careful. Glad to know she's still alive. She's too inexperienced to lead the others to battle, I think. He shrugs. Like most people, she needs to follow others, but she already knows that. There's nothing worse than a fighter too stupid to limit their ambitions.
I think that is true about Tulia. I don't think that she would disagree with any of this.
Yeah.
In fact, she said that she's quite happy to get demoted when she gets back to Hovlevan. How about Gloucester? I've met her more than once. She's older than me, wrinkled, tanned. I don't know how she survived for so long. Oh, also there's... Oh, right, he's going to talk about it. Maybe. I've heard she's from the coast. I don't really know her story. She's strong, though, and convincing. She wanted to move her band to Pelt, make huts in the courtyard. When I told her to leave, she didn't make a scene or anything. But her face was chilling. He looks at the stove, and she may want revenge. Gloucester is a cruel soul in a scary shell. It's worth saying that as of now, there is a truce between Gloucester's band and some of the people around here, but there have been rumors of bandit activity, and they're not sure if it's Gloucester. Should we ask about Thais? Or how's it spelled?
That's how it's spelled, yeah. People say she's a good mayor, but she's rich from birth, so also careless. She doesn't know the struggle, the hunger and dirt, so fancies her clothes more than one should. She thinks she keeps her village safe, even though it's the druids who do all the work. He looks down, but finally speaks again. She may be frivolous, but she isn't stupid. If you're smart, better keep your eyes open.
Now, something that I think is unbelievably cool, with some of these stuff, it actively gets added. Yeah, look at this. For example, now we know that she's tanned, wrinkled by age, charismatic, strong, scary. For Thais, we know that she's a rich woman who represents her village when it comes to trade, and the Pelt's innkeeper doesn't like her. According to Pelt's innkeep, she's more efficient when she has someone to order her around. Like, this information is getting internalized by the character. Speaking of, let's try. I want to hear about your business deal. Well, not a large man, though broad-shouldered. Yeah, he's about 5 feet tall. Red hair and beard. I don't know what to say. He raises a muscled arm and places a hand on the back of his head. He was a fine fellow, but I doubt he's alive. He always tried to stay away from things, let's say. People knew him, but he didn't really have allies. Maybe the locals know what happened to him, yet decided not to help him. Or maybe they wanted to get rid of him. He leans forward, looks at his boots. Asterion was a fine man. A quiet one, but not dumb. He aided me many times, not for free, of course. And when he couldn't finish the job, it was for damn good reasons. And you know what? He looks at you in the eyes. He was scrupulous. Patient. I'd be shocked if he died because of some mistake of his. Maybe the bandits got to him. Why not? Interesting. Don't get awkward, Roadwarden.
I was going to say we should ask about the horse.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he doesn't know them.
Oh.
He hasn't met a horse. I think those are all the names. Oh, there's the Enchantress, whose name is... I can check the archive.
Start with an E?
Yes, it does start with an E. Her name is Eudocia.
Right.
Eudocia.
Oh, Eudocia is crazy. She lives in a lonely house all by herself, skinny and dirty like a corpse eater, surrounded by golems. Never smiles, never cries. One of those. She never leaves her home, and if you see her from far away, it looks abandoned. A few times a year, people travel to her and trade barrels of food for magical items.
Wow. Okay. I want to know how the journal has internalized what this dude feels about Eudocia. Oh, according to Pelting Keep, she's insane and lives alone, skinny and dirty, protected by her golems. She never cries and never smiles. I really love that we've got whether it's a inflected narratorial voice or just a quote-unquote neutral one, but then we also have direct quotes, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, oh, try asking about Empress, and I'll do that. And then I think we're pretty much... Oh, Potato Note says, can we ask about the Necromancers? Yeah, let's try Empress and then Necromancers, and then move on.
Yeah.
This is really cool. What do you mean? Are you trying to find her after all these years? He chuckles. The Empress is gone, and she will never be back. She's dead as shit. Hey, should we find out what we know about the Empress?
I bet she's a zombie. I bet there's a zombie empress.
Emperors and Empresses. You want to read this one?
Yeah. The North used to be ruled by an emperor or an empress. They, or rather their court, were a chief of the capital city, the head of the United Church, and the commander-in-chief. While the villagers were aware of the existence of the court, almost none of them ever had an opportunity to see the royal faces. The 10 cities united the city folk, but the vast majority of the common folk felt attached only to their own villages, or to the larger tribe to which their settlement belonged, and called themselves the Northerners. The role of the emperors was shaped by 1,500 years of tradition. Ideally, the most suitable candidate was elected by the 10 chiefs of the cities, but thanks to the nepotism and power held by the court, almost all of the elected emperors belonged to a small group of royal families. Losing in the southern invasion has discredited the position of the emperors. The ruling empress has disappeared and never officially lost her position. At first, her duties were carried out by the court and city chiefs, but after their army lost to the Southerners, the first usurpers came to the surface. The interregnum, political intrigues, rivalry, and assassinations brought the city folk to the point where they are losing their faith in the state.
Empress is gone. How about Necromancers? When he crosses his arms, the room gets a bit colder. I'm a city man, Roadwarden. I've seen dozens of priests and monks saying the craziest shit for the sake of coin, dominance, and obsession. Pagans, druids, necromancers, I don't care about any of it, as long as they keep to themselves. The locals ain't hostile, and I won't repay them by spreading rumors about them. Oh, so this guy's pretty chill about the necromancers.
Yeah.
Chat wants to know if we can ask about the villages. Is it called Howler's Dell or Howler's Den?
I thought it was Den, but I don't know.
Oh. Doesn't know about Howler's Den. What about Howler's Dell?
Nah, okay. This is a persons only thing.
Yeah, I think so. Although, what I will do is... Yeah, we should go through these at the beginning of the next stream or something. Figure it out. Howler's Dell. Yeah, I'll try White Marshes just in case. It says who.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. That's all I need.
All right.
I go outside. You step outside. Look west is moving around slowly as far as its cord allows. You hear the sounds of work coming from an armorer's workshop.
Do we want to save and pause here and come back?
I think that is a great idea.
Yeah.
I think we should pause here, and when we come back, we should do this stuff around the inn and then start going outside and looking for berries.
Think of like, if we're spending our day here, who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, truly. All right, I'm going to make a save. This has been so much fun.
Very fun.
I am so excited to be playing this, and we are definitely going to play more of it.
Yeah.
I don't know that we can promise a full LP, but we're going to keep going, see how we do.
Yeah.
All right. So this has been Roadwarden. I believe it is only a PC game right now, but it's available on Steam. Okay. Everybody have a good day. And I'll try to as well. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.